tough week, Joe. Tell you what, I'm glad we've got the channel and we've got the fans and people to talk to because, mate, it has been a tough week. I went from, oh look, my trades were fantastic and I got good players in, and then slowly, each day, each kind of game or player that I had along the way was just like, okay, cool, didn't work out. Okay, cool, didn't work out, and then last game didn't work out either. So, mate, we'll see what happens. We will rebuild, as the Romans said. So, yeah, we'll go from here and keep going strong. How you doing, mate?
Calm Bombers. I don't care. The super coach went to shit this week, but I don't care. Because cheese, the Bombers, we got up, mate. We got up. I told you we'd get up. I tipped us to win. And that's
I tipped you guys to win as well, to be fair.
Well done.
I was very, very happy with that tip. I think I went like 7 this week. There were a couple of games that you just couldn't predict, right? Like, you guys winning was great. I don't think I had Brisbane winning versus Collingwood. I think Brisbane are in so much trouble that there's just stuff happening. Obviously, Carlton winning I had, and then I'm pretty sure I had Freo winning as well, just kind of on their strength. And I'm pretty sure I had tipped Port Adelaide at home in the tight game there. So
likewise,
yeah, 3 out of 9 missing, I think, for me this week. Ooh, maybe I didn't tip Richmond. I think Richmond, so it might be 5 missing and then 4 out for me.
Yeah, no. So look, happy Easter first and foremost. Hope you guys had a lovely long weekend. We're here. We've had a slightly different sort of arrangement this week with the Monday game. Of course, it was a good game. It was very wet,
delayed game. Like I think a few people here talking. Cammer was a bit cheeky and kind of jumped on the Discord for a little while as well and was talking about it. He was driving home from the MCG and it was, so much rain and everything. I started hearing it from my house, like, well, yep, that's it for us.
Yeah, 100%. So it was a different sort of week this week. The Super Coach wasn't particularly great. It started off okay and then didn't
some
really.
People have been laughing. Some people have crushed this week, Joe. It's just me and you.
100%. Yep.
I mean,
we're the shit ones here today. We're the shit ones this week. So it is what it is. But I hope you guys all had a lovely weekend and you enjoyed your football. I know I enjoyed the football. The Super Coach wasn't particularly great, but it was overall a very good game, a very good weekend of football that we've just had. Yes, it was a tad wet at the G, just a slight drizzle, as you boys are saying. A 19-15 for Velo this week. That's very good. Anyone that cracked 1900 is a gun for me. I couldn't crack 1900 this week, unfortunately.
How does that make sense? I got 1903. So, like, that's a bit rough. But how did you not make 1900, Joe?
Mate, my team it's in a very sad state at the moment, my team. No Max Gawn is going to be the bane of my existence. And see if we can sort of set this up. How do we have us?
You'll be able
this
to.
This is my team, mate.
Are we going to do the team review video after this one? That's my question.
It was shit. Yeah, we will. But I just wanted to show you. You said how I couldn't hit 1900. My team went to shit, mate. My team is terrible. I had the captain on English who couldn't match Gawn. Got a Darcy Wilson 25.
Mm-hmm.
No one really popped off for me, is the thing. Obviously he did well, but it was the bad English captain. And then I obviously had, again, not a great on-field rookies. The rookie roulette was wrong. House instead of Hoare. Carroll came on. But it just wasn't a great week. My team did not fire. And I sort of knew it was going to be tough without Green and without Flanders. You know, I lost 2 premiums coming into this week. So it's it is what it is, but it was a bit rough for me. Only scored 1879, which is pretty sad, but it is what it is.
Yeah, definitely. It's a rough one, right? I think you had 2 premiums out. I had 3 premiums out, close to about $2 million not playing. Something I'll talk about in the round review video. But yeah, some people had some monster scores. 2 players that I'm not very happy about. Joe going very, very big this week, and Big J traded them out. No Nick Martin.
Yep.
No Young. could have saved myself 2 trades and got 230 scores. And yeah, I'm just glad Tom Powell was a good pick this week.
Yes, Colin. Well done. Congratulations, Colin. You cracked it, mate. The persistence, the dedication, the sheer will to not hit the trade button. I commend you, Colin. Very, very well done for persisting and holding on to him. You're absolutely flying, mate. You're frying us and you're flying. So well done.
Yeah, and that's a big thing too, right? It's like we make the content, you guys jump on the show and do everything, but you know, you guys do well. We're going to praise you. We're not going to be like, oh, we've got to get Nick Martin in again, got to do all this crazy stuff. If he ends up being a keeper, then fantastic, we can get him in later. But congratulations, as Joe says, for those people that held him. Bloody good effort.
100%.
And Hayden Young as well, sticking fat with both of these players.
100%. I mean, even I think even Jen held on to hold on to Hayden Young. How's it going, Jen? Good stuff. And your Pies got the win as well this week, so that was a little bit surprising. So that was pretty good. Yeah,
definitely. Great win for the Pies. Unfortunately, it wasn't a draw because I thought that would be funny. Both premiership teams getting into a draw, but yeah, some really good players from the Pies standing up too. I think a few more goals coming the way that's not just kicked to Myercheck, which was really impressive.
Yes, 100%. Paul, how's it going, Paul? Boys. Joe, your advice to pick Dempsey over Karmas won my league matchup by 15 points. Congratulations, Paul.
How does that make sense? Because I think how much did Karmas score? Karmas was a higher score, right? Than
Karmas was good. Dempsey? Yeah, Karmas scored 82, Buku.
Yeah.
And
how much was Dempsey?
And Dempsey scored 86. So I'm not entirely sure how the 4 points got you winning by 15, but maybe.
Yeah, Dempsey's one, Joe. I know they're talking about it in the Discord at the moment. It's really interesting, kind of no Geelong players in this game scored over 100. We're going to go through the rest of the games as the night goes on, but no Geelong players scored over 100. I do not own Dempsey. I'm very sad. Jai Clark, not so much, but yeah, it's a tough one when he could be the Chandler of last year. And I know looking at my forward bench, it's pretty sad at the moment. I've got Cadman scoring well, but obviously Darcy Wilson, it makes things a bit rough for me at the moment.
I don't know. Jai Clark is one thing, but with Chandler last year, I actually got him after one price rise. So that could be Dempsey for me this year. Unfortunately, I had to get in Powell, Massimo, and I had to fix Dawson. And thank God I fixed Dawson, because Dawson would have had me crying when in that game. I would have been crying in that Dawson game. So I had to fix him. Unfortunately, you can only do 3 trades maximum per week. So someone had to slip through the cracks, and Dempsey was the guy who slipped through the cracks for me this week.
Yeah, definitely. It's something that we've spoken about so much during the preseason and kind of through the first 2 rounds as well. Is just you can't get everyone. That's the big thing at the moment. You just can't get everyone. So if you've got, yourself got a Buku Karmas, cool. He scored an 82 off a few decent scores. I think it's more people like myself who don't have any of the guys who have just scored an 80. Unless we're doing something a little bit shady and potentially getting in some cheaper players, maybe a Mackay. I know Velo is going to talk to me about Mackay in the chat. Mackay and then Tom Powell and these guys. You're almost going to be behind, Joe.
Yep. Exactly right. Freeman, Harry, hopefully you're driving safe, mate. Make sure hands-free, eyes on the road.
No accidents, please. The drive home is on Thursday, not today.
Exactly. So please be safe. Be safe, Harry. Paul, guys, did you hear about the news about the 2025 Grand Final? Bro, that is classic April Fools. Classic April Fools, Paul.
What was it, Joe?
It was that they're going to implement a best of 3 for the Grand Final, and that all of the finals were going to be played at the MCG.
It wouldn't surprise me, to be honest. Like the AFL, they brought in round 0. They're going to bring in some more useless kind of rules at the moment. So, yeah. It's,
if they go best of 3 for the Grand Final, the MCG
you got injured. Yeah. Imagine if you just got injured. It was like, yep, that's it. Cool. You could get concussed in the first game and then come back for the third game. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. How's it going, Jonas? Bro, he had a bit of bone bruising. It was a slight bit of swelling in the knee. Nothing to do with the toe. Stop ripping into the set of goat, all right, Jonas? He's a gun. He is a gun. I'll rest my case on that.
Yeah. I think that's one of the big things. If you look at sports like baseball, I know they play a 7-game series. I'm pretty sure NFL does as well. And even maybe hockey, I'm not quite sure. So at least the first two are basically non-contact sports, right? You cannot have a game like AFL and say, cool, 3 weeks in a row, you guys are going to play, and it's going to be a best-of-3 series. Like,
exactly. No way. And part of what makes this game so incredible is the crunching, is the high pressure, you're putting your body on the line, courage. It's already hard enough doing we saw how both teams, like we had the replay, right, in 2010 between the Saints and the Pies, and one team got up and the other team, St Kilda, were completely just couldn't get to the game, essentially. So we can't do that. You can't have multiple weeks of grand final, multiple games. It has to be the one on the day. Hold your ghost, 1935. Thought that was shit. No, hold your ghost. We were shitter. Don't you worry about that, mate.
Our teams, I think, were worse this week. It's going to be interesting what happens heading into round 4. I know there are a few teams with some gaping holes in their sides, and they're like, cool, who cares about defenders? You know, we're going to get DPP in round 7, where I wonder if there's going to be a little more evening out of teams in round 4, or maybe the guys that jumped on a lot of these, like Melbourne and Richmond and Sydney players, they're actually going to jump up because they've had a week or two worth more of cash gen. I know myself, I'm potentially looking at offloading a James Jordan and a few of these other players this week. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
The only annoying thing with those Melbourne rookies that you're talking about is that they're just not scoring great. Is the problem?
Or one scores well and the other one doesn't score well.
Exactly.
It's been up and down. I think the last 2 or 3 weeks, obviously, Hall scored 12 last week, so there was good keeping him off keeping him off the field. But yeah, this week Hall did okay. Last week Howes didn't do okay. I think we're going to end up getting to a point where both of them are just on the bench, and as long as you've got both, you're just gonna, they're gonna play. So yeah, maybe someone goes out for a Draper, and then you can enable your team a little bit.
Man, round 7 can't come close enough, bro. Like I need McKercher and Roberts in the back line ASAP. I can't have this shit happening all the time.
Yeah. I think for me, looking at my team, potentially Nick Dacos goes to the midfield this week if I end up bringing in Whitfield, just the way the points and stuff works. So if that's the case, then it's going to be very, very interesting to see kind of what happens and what develops with the side over the next week or so, because you've got a plan for it, right? But if McKercher and Roberts are still scoring 95, like that's a half decent midfield score. So you kind of don't need them at the moment in those positions.
Exactly. Brady, how's it going? 1807 this week, very close to giving up. Bro, don't give up. It's just a game. Have some fun. You get to come in here and we get to have a laugh. And sometimes shit's so bad that all you can do is laugh. If you don't laugh, you cry. Enjoy the game,
the best thing, Brady, the best thing ever is that if you cannot make top 1%, if you cannot win number 1 position, you can still win 3 prizes with the centre bounce. You can still get our top scorer for the year. You can still get the best score in the regular season, and you can still win the booby prize. You can't do it if you give up. We always say, cool, round 0 and round 1 basically decide who's going to be top 5. If you're lucky, the way teams are going, all these guys with Steele and basically picking everyone who's going to average 120 from then on. But set yourself a goal, Brady. Say, hey, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to aim for top 1%. If I can get a hat, if I can get a prize from KFC or whoever the new sponsor is, fantastic. That's my season
Swift,
done.
Isn't it Swift?
So, Swift, maybe? Yeah. So do that. Set yourself a goal that you're going to make the best team that you can. Even if it's a team, say to myself, I'm going to finish with a team that's got a primo on the bench that I can swing for coverage. That in itself is a perfect kind of thing. It's a goal that's achievable. Make it happen, mate. Don't give up yet.
Yeah.
And you
And
get to
even
give up,
if
you don't watch our content anymore, and you don't get to hang out with us on like twice a week and watch our stuff. So, I mean, that's in itself, Joe.
Yeah, I know. And even if you struggle to put a goal in mind for this year, at least what you can do is persist with the rest of this year and see what else you can learn throughout the duration of the season, and then you can take those learnings with you into the next year. So at least you can then refer to things that's happened in 2024 as a season and be like, I'm not going to make that mistake in 2025. So if you drop it now, then you won't have a chance to pick up and learn more things about the game as the season progresses. It's not over, Brady. Have some fun, man. Cheese. I picked primos like LGU and Dan Houston to give me the advantage in the buys. And I was beaten by teams missing 3 primos. Embarrassing.
Oh, cheese, mate. If you'd picked the Freo ones, I think you'd be on fire, but 100% kind of LDU shit the bed a little bit. People are going to get him at potentially sub 500K, similar with the Dawson, as Joe's been talking about. So, yeah, it's a lot of that going around at the moment. Don't need to be so worried.
Mate, cheese, that's what killed me last year. That's what killed my start last year, picking the wrong premiums. You can have good structure, but if you have the wrong premiums, the difference in scoring is ridiculous.
Yep.
And then the ones that have gone, you don't get those points, and then you just find yourself falling behind more and more. It's just really unlucky, Cheese.
Which is where everyone who's watching this, and tell your friends and everything, this week's kind of break-evens video is going to be very, very good because there's so many players to jump on. All these guys that were kind of around that 500K mark, there's a lot of them who are pumping out 120 averages at the moment that you guys can pick up. Maybe it's a fallen premium, maybe it's a 1 up, 1 down, or if you're very, very lucky, maybe you can go 2 up, 1 down. So, yeah, something to stay tuned for this week. And I'm excited to start upgrading my team and making my team better.
Yeah, 100%, man. Sloppy Joe Lanepipe scored 2,054 with 9 did not play.
That's pretty good there, Jonas. No worries,
mate. I might need to start laying some pipe then, if that's the secret to scoring good. I've clearly missed the trick here. Harry scored a 1924. Good stuff, Harry. Well done.
Nice work, Harry.
2071 for buy Z dips.
Yep. Fantastic score. I reckon the top score this week, even though it is best 18, I still reckon the top score is going to be like 2,200, even potentially a 2,250 or 2,300. There's so many good players. If they continue best 18 round 0 next year, just jump on all these guys that don't have a buy. Guarantee yourself like 13, 14 primos if you can. You're laughing at that point.
Yep, exactly. Only 18.25 for Stephen McCarthy. Also have LDU as a pod. Big J, what do you think about LDU?
Oh, well, as good of a player as LDU is, life would say that you've got to jump off him, unfortunately. Unless you think he can really bounce back, he's not averaging enough, and you might just be able to pick him up in a couple of weeks. If I've got enough money from LDU, depending on how far he drops, it might be a straight swap to a steal or someone else who has been dominating, who does look good. I don't think it's a case of, hey, Tom Powell's taken LDU's points. It just didn't look great. We'll cover the game kind of shortly because it's one of the Friday games. So, it's a rough one.
He looked like he just sort of junked it up in the last quarter, I feel.
I think that's just North Melbourne. I think kind of it's tough. We haven't had a lot of wins, and I think it's not like a Collingwood like versus Brisbane where, we're 40 points down and we know what we need to do to start winning games. If you're missing out on that, it really struggles.
Yeah, fair enough. Ultimate Fitness Adventure Camp, how's it going, mate? Are there many... I know, it's a full camp, bro. The Ultimate Fitness Adventure Camp. Yeah. Are there many sad brown cows on the field this week along with me? Finding any smile this week is the only plus. Drowning with 1,800, but more twist with mid-price madness. How about 5 burgers now? Look, I wouldn't go full ham with the 5 burgers, but 1,800 is not the end of the world camp.
No, you're only behind by like 100 points, really. Like par's probably 1950. So if you've got that cool 150 points, like it's week 3. Realistically, it's week 3. You've still got 30 trades, 30, 35 trades to go. So yeah, you're okay. It just sucks.
Exactly.
It really sucks being kind of on the wrong end.
Agreed. Blues fan. I mean, both had arguably their career best games. Oh, this is in relation to Young and Martin. Their career best games and only cracked 130. Yeah, agreed. Agreed, Blues fan. I'm not entirely against it. Well done to those who held. Yeah, there was a reason why people held them. I mean, it's sort of similar with Fisher, for example. But Fisher didn't work out. So I know there's a bunch of people who held on to Fisher, hoping that he would come good. And then, too much sidewaysing in your team is a lot of wasted trades. But as you say, I don't anticipate Young to play that sort of game again. Adelaide just let them do whatever they wanted, whatever he wanted. They're in a lot of trouble. And so Hayden Young, I can't see him playing so freely. And Nick Martin had 44 disposals, which is literally equal with the most disposals ever by any Essendon player, and that's Darcy Parish. So, it's a good hold, a good week for them this week. But in terms of the duration of the season, I don't necessarily think if you traded our Young to get Ryan, I think in the long run, Ryan's going to score more than Young. And if you use the trade on a Nick Martin, for example, to bolster up a rookie in defense to get Massimo, as well as maybe someone in your forward line to get Powell, I think in the long run, those two moves will be more beneficial than just holding on to Nick Martin, who's not going to have 44 disposals every single week. So it's swings and roundabouts, but it's also looking at the big picture for the rest of the season. Well done to those who held. They've saved trades plus gotten good points this week. But I don't anticipate this sort of scoring every single week.
See, because I'm kind of in a different boat. Like, obviously, Nick Martin's gone for me and things like that, but I can easily see him averaging like a 115 potentially. Yes, he won't have 44 touches, but his 44 touches weren't at 100% efficiency either. You look at that 75% plus 7 clangers, and a few of them were straight kicks to opposition as well. If he gets 1 or 2 more tackles and let's say drops 10 or 15 like possessions, he can still make that 100. So there's a reason why we picked Hayden Young and Nick Martin. There's a reason why we started both of them. The role was always there for those two players. They both kind of showed that at points throughout the season and through the first 2 rounds. It makes it tough being a non-owner now and kind of seeing that because look, he's playing off halfback. Well, that was the role he was destined for. He trained for in the season. So I'm a little bit different, Joe, kind of what you're saying. If you held Nick Martin, I would upgrade everywhere else in your team. And then if Nick Martin at that point is not a keeper, then you can sideways him. But congratulations, he's probably going to average you 100 plus, and purely good move for those owners who held fast for both of those players.
Sure. We can agree to disagree on that one. Jonas, Big Sack Heaney, 144, 136, 128, 148.
I have to tell you a story, Joe. So I had Heaney. I talked about in my captain's video. Cool. Going Butters into Heaney. The whole time Butters into Heaney. I was very, very happy with Butters into Heaney. Someone on the Discord, I don't know who it was, kind of convinced me, go Bont. Bont versus West Coast. That's a good matchup there. Blah, blah, blah. I didn't go Bont. Sorry, I didn't go Heaney. And then Heaney pumped out a 148. And I was very, very, very sad. I knew it. We talked about how Essendon gives up all the points to midfielders. I'm like, cool, doesn't matter. Bang. Very, very sad. But he's almost going to end up being unobtainable for those people that didn't pick him. Because if he's pumping out 120s, 130s, good luck. He's going to be 700K.
140s, mate.
He's going to be 700K. Maybe not on his buy, but just after his buy, he's going to be that price. The real kind of measuring stick, and I think it's why James Jordan fell off a little bit in the game. The real kind of measuring stick is, hey, what happens when Taylor Adams comes back in? He looks like he's going to come back in either this week or next week. And then, we'll kind of see what happens.
Actually, as we're talking about the Swans a bit there.
Yep.
Where is he? Hey, Papley, you got to play strong football, mate. You got to play the ball. You got to be strong. You got to play 4 quarters. What happened, Paps? Huh? What happened? You went down to the Tigers, who lost 2 important players to injury. What happened, Papley?
Yep.
Not talking big this week, are you? Huh?
There's a few people in the chat who go for the Tigers, and there's a few people this week. I think Jack Steele, depending on his price, is going to be the player you must have this week. If he ends up being around 550k, Richmond have no players, Joe. They're losing like 3 big players. I think Bolter's injured. Yep. Who else was injured from the game?
Tom Lynch.
Bolter's out. Tom Lynch is out. And then, is it Baker has a one week suspension? So, yeah, it's a tough one, man. They're in a bit of trouble there.
Yeah, 100%. No, I'm just so happy. And then there's some footage of Papley being bumped off the ball and he's falling over like a sack of potatoes. Suck on that, Tom. Suck on that, mate. Unbelievable. The carry on from the Swans last week was just, they were insufferable. Velo, still happy with Steele and Nazaya wanging in Miller trades. They did okay.
Nazaya, I think, was very, very lucky. Maybe owners got saved, or maybe it was just kind of the natural progression of things, because I looked at, I think it was quarter time or half time, he was on like 30 points, and I was like, cool, okay, the pick didn't work out. I know George is not very happy about Windhager, same with Shaq if you're watching, but yeah, it's Windhager did not work, but yeah, Nazaya kind of saved himself, I think, for a lot of people. So yeah, something to be happy about.
And a week off for Marcus as well.
Yes, and a week off as well. But they'll probably contest, but yeah, we'll see.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. That's not too bad, but yeah, no, they'll be fine. They'll be good. They got started to get a lot of the ball in their back half as the game wore on. And I think
Nazaya just became closer and closer, right?
Yeah.
Like you guys started to put on the pain, and really nice to see Harry Jones too. I know he's kind of been the whipping boy at the moment, and Cooley's not been that good, but he really stood up.
He did. He had a great game. Kicked our first goal of the game. Nice kick inside 50, and he flew it. And that's Harrison Jones at his best. When he's able to run and jump for the football, he looks amazing. But very often, his direct opponent, he struggles to get separation. I don't know if it's the Saints just didn't really rate him as a genuine threat. They didn't give him the attention and the time, I suppose, to stop him. But I thought going in with the two ruckmen did help, because we did try and play tall, and Harrison Jones was playing as that third tall, and so I think he did really well working his way into the game. Quite a few disposals. Dyson Heppel just continues to try and fight against the clock. I thought that he had a great game after quarter time. I thought the defensive trio of Heppel, McGrath, and I know you might not like it, but Ben Mackay, he had 13 intercept possessions in this game.
There are a lot of people saying that Ben Mackay is now a good pickup for Essendon, and congratulations to Essendon and Ben Mackay. He seems to be playing a good role in there, and as people say, and as yourself are probably going to say, was very crucial in the win.
He was, absolutely. In that last quarter in particular, he was just repelling with attack after attack. So I think our back six really held up really well. I think Zach Merritt has proven himself as truly one of the, if you didn't rate him before, which I don't know how you wouldn't, I think King said that he's the best captain in the league right now, which is incredible praise. So yeah, another 30 disposals at 131, 14 contested. So we were hoping that Zach would drop, but it doesn't look like he's dropping.
I'm pretty sure he was something like 50 points at halftime, and I was like, cool, Zach Merritt, I'm happy. We can get him in like kind of round 5, round 6. But yeah, 131 for Zach Merritt. He's we spoke about, Joe, in the preseason about how Zach Merritt's first few games of Supercoach weren't that favourable. Zach Merritt's been doing pretty well, mate. I think we might have not been on the money there.
Mate, he's always been someone you trade in after the bye. But I've sort of But year on year, especially now that he's gotten the captaincy, I've said
130
that
average.
that he's hitting the ground running sooner rather than after the bye. I just didn't anticipate that he'd be going full guns blazing right out of the gates. He's been unreal. And obviously there's been no Darcy Parish as well in the first couple of games. So Zach Merritt's his last quarters in particular, he's just going to another level in the last quarter. When things are tight, he's winning contested ball, he's tackling, he's hitting the scoreboard as well. So it's the last quarter rush. Zach Merritt is maintaining a ridiculous average. He needs to be in all of our sides. We were hoping to get him in, I suppose.
Yeah, we're going to have to pay full price for him, really.
It's going to be full price.
Yeah. Do you think it's a Darcy Parish thing, as you say, that he hasn't been scoring well, or a little mix of like maybe Goldstein's favouring him over other players, or potentially even this week, like Setterfield's not playing, right? So maybe Parish is some of his ball, some of Zach Merritt's ball, his scores going up because Parish is not there.
Yeah, he's definitely getting more CBAs as a result, because there's always someone missing. We had a good bill of health in the whole preseason up until now. When the season started, we've always had changes every week, niggles everywhere. And yeah, obviously Setterfield was out, and Zach Merritt was playing that defensive-sided inside mid that Setterfield would normally play. If you look at Zach Merritt, I watched the game really closely, obviously as a Don. A lot of his disposals, he got them on the defensive side of the stoppage in the center bounce. And that was the Will Setterfield role. So when Setterfield comes back, plus Darcy Parish, who played his first game for the season this week, he scored 104 Dream Team for 80 Supercoach. So he obviously left a bit of points out there on the field, but his first game, high heat, 26 disposals, 8 tackles. When Darcy Parish is laying tackles, you know he's on. So hopefully Darcy Parish can maybe give us another little one so that we can trade him in for good value. But I don't know if you want to take the risk for someone who's coming off a hammy concern.
We may lose a few people because Supercoach is actually open, and it's opened very quickly. So maybe they had all the stuff kind of saved up and just said, cool, the last game's on, we'll make it happen. But please don't leave the stream, guys. We can play around with our teams afterwards. But
for sure,
there's a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah, but there's no one else from Essendon that's relevant. We move to the Saints. Obviously, Jack Steele, if you own him, congratulations. He looked sensational. Some of his ball use as well.
I'm trying to get him into my team right now.
There you go.
Yeah, he's too good not to play, I think.
Oh, he was great, and his decision making with the ball in hand, kicking the ball inside 50 was also wonderful. He really looks back to his best. 29 disposals with 7 tackles. He's even getting 9 marks. Now, he's not going to get 9 marks every week. We really suck at defending against transition. So Jack Steele was able to really capitalize on the freedom that we gave him, and he had a wonderful game. 126. If you own him, then you're absolutely laughing. At that price, he is genuinely a steal at that price. So well done to you guys. Riley Bonner, he's very lucky. He is very lucky to have 104. He had 29 kicks, but
17 clangers, I think.
Yeah, but if I reduce that, the size of it, 6 clangers, but he had 12 turnovers. I don't know why it's 6 doesn't show 12. But he was horrific. He was very bad. And
I think the clangers is a mix of turnovers, but also like kicks that you kick straight out on the full as well, or just kind of kicks that don't go anywhere. I think that's how they kind of calculate clangers a little bit. It couldn't be like just straight turnovers, because you look at Rowan Marshall, he did not have 14 like clangers. Like, I'm sorry, mate.
He gave away free kicks. He gave away a few free kicks in the ruck, which obviously would have been part of that. But yeah, Riley Bonner was lucky, man.
Bonner, he gained a kilometer gained. Yep.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But I didn't notice that until right now.
Yeah, but he was lucky though, because especially in that last quarter, the ball was essentially living in our forward line, and he was getting a lot of the pill back there. But regardless of what happens, he, Sinclair, and Nazaya, you look at them, essentially they all averaged about 95 a piece. And that just is indicative of where the ball was living for almost all of the last quarter. Now, is that going to happen to St. Kilda every week? I don't know about that. If their midfield's going to get beat so much. Essendon actually is the number one clearance team in the competition at the moment. So maybe it doesn't happen every week and they just got beat up in the midfield by a better midfield mix. So maybe they don't share this points all the time. But as a trio, I can't. They're going to share points. It's just a question of who pops off. I think as Jack Sinclair works his way into the season more, he's going to get more of the pill, isn't he?
Yeah, no, I think so, definitely.
And then that's about it in terms of, Darcy Wilson, you killed me, mate. Darcy Wilson, you freaking killed me, bro. What is this? Huh? What is this? 44% disposal efficiency are behind. He got burnt a couple of times, but bro, that's disgusting. I'm very disappointed. Very disappointed. All right. Next game. Port v Melbourne in what was a cracker.
Yeah, but very, very happy with this game. Obviously, as a Max Gawn owner, I did not have him as the C, but, very, very happy, Joe. It was a real tussle because Melbourne is such an interesting team. Like, I think their role players are just so strong. And as you see here, Petrarca didn't score over 100. Viney didn't score over 100. Clayton Oliver, similar as well. 3 players who you thought would probably be there. And then you've got like a Trent Rivers and then an Alex Neil-Bullen, who I think is one of the most underrated players just in Supercoach and in the AFL just in general. I mean, no one talks about him, but he's just so damn solid. It sucks for those people like yourself, Joe, who do have a Jack Billings, who got subbed off with a 42. I don't know exactly what that does for his cash gen, but it doesn't look great. And then we spoke about, obviously, which one of Marty Hoare and Howes you probably want to have on field as well. So, yeah, it's a rough one.
Bloody hell, man. Why do I have Billings and not Gawn? Like, it's messed up. This is a messed up season, bro, honestly. Joe's disrespect led to the jinx continues. Bro, it wasn't a disrespect. We saw what happened to him. We saw he copped the problem at halftime, and then after halftime, it went to shit. Like, I saw something in front of my eyes, and I wish I didn't see it. Because if I didn't see it, then I'd still have Gawn in my team, and I'd be living life super happy. But I've been done dirty by Grundy for bumping Gawn, injuring Gawn in the game, and then I keep Grundy, and meanwhile Gawn is flying. So this is ridiculous. Very sad. Congratulations to all the people, which is most of the competition, who owns Max Gawn.
Yep, unfortunately.
But yeah, Petrarca, this was needed for him to drop in price. Clayton Oliver as well. He's going to be very juicy. Clayton Oliver. He's going to be very nice to get in. Windsor 56. That's a very nice dream team to Supercoach ratio. So if you own him, you'd be a little bit happy with that. But yeah, no one really, anyone else there. Moving across the Port, Willem Drew, mate. That's a very, very impressive, very brilliant. Yeah, Billings is out, Velo. He's freaking out.
And he's in the
faster
bin.
Than I can say out. He's in the bin. I haven't even opened Supercoach yet, but he's already traded out. Like, that's how fast he's out. He's already gone. Soldo, he's obviously better than Sweet. There was never a question about that. Dan Houston, look, Dan Houston's going to give us regular okay scores. That's what Dan Houston does. He tends to have a good dream team to Supercoach ratio. But having a Houston as opposed to having a Ryan's going to probably see me lose 15 to 20 points every single week at that position, which is a little bit unfortunate, but hey, it is what it is. You look to skimp out a little bit on some money. You're saving, 20K? And in the process, you start to lose 20 points every single game, and that's not worth it. So should have paid up for Ryan. That was a mistake on my front. Well done to you for trading.
I mean, I got rid of
Ryan
Nick Martin and Hayden Young, so I didn't have a great week.
Yeah, exactly. So watch Buildings go 100 this week.
Exactly. Mate, yeah, it's going to happen.
Velo, if it happens, I'm going to send him a very nasty letter. And in it, in the envelope, it's going to have a rotten egg. There's going to be a rotten egg in that envelope.
Yeah.
Just to make me upset.
Just for fun. As Paul says here, Houston has 3 games at home. So, yeah, hopefully that works out. It hasn't worked for Ollie Wines, so not great.
Where is he? Where is Ollie Wines?
He's
over here. 96? That's still
all
good.
He's been scoring is a 96, and he's valued at 96. Like, this was the guy that we had hoped was going to pump out some 130 scores, and Ollie Wines was on, like, 80 points at three-quarter time, and then scored at 10 points in the last quarter. Like, it's not great. It's really not good. And his time on ground's been shocking. Like, it's not just he's being rested. Like, I think he's actually a real fitness problem. For a guy that a lot of us picked that the hype during the preseason was, cool, it's 100% fit, ready to go, he's going to play mass minutes. It's a tough one.
Rotten egg, don't Italian send horse heads. I'm not Italian, Velo. I'm not Italian. So I could send him something else, but that will definitely shut down the stream of the exploding kind. Connor Rosie, 102. Not too bad. 26 disposals and a goal. 5 frees as well. He's a good player, Connor Rosie.
Yeah.
Him and Butters.
Maybe we'll do the DPP video this week, but it is a very short week. I think it's today and then the first game's on Thursday. So something to monitor there. But Connor Rosie might end up getting forward status, Joe. So something to really look at and see, hey, look, is this guy going to be on my team or not in my team? Yeah, well, we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, Zach Butters, a lot of people had the VC on him. 26 disposals. A little bit unfortunate that he didn't even crack the ton, but hey, he's human. And Melbourne played unreal. Melbourne legit was phenomenal this game. So I can forgive him for having a down game. He's still going to go up in price, I'm pretty sure, given how hot he started the season. And that's it.
Yeah,
that's it. Nothing else.
Port's in an interesting spot because they probably shouldn't have lost this game. So maybe there's some things that are going to happen. But yeah, Ivan Soldo, if you've got him, congratulations, because he's been kind of, outside of last week, he's been really solid.
And guess who Port play next week, or should I say this week, to sort of try and bounce back? They're playing us.
Oh, they're playing you guys.
Why? Why?
Yeah. Makes me want to keep Ollie Wines.
I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I hate it when we have to play the team that wants a strong bounce
back. You're trying to bounce back. It's always you guys.
It's always us. Legit. Yep. I was very happy playing against St Kilda this week because they were up and about, having beaten Collingwood. And so maybe they were a little bit comfortable. But Port are going to come out with a freaking rocket up their ass. We could lose by 45 easily, I reckon, this week. So we'll see. Moving to the Dogs and the Eagles. Gee, that's a few people with 100 this week.
Mate. Oh. Yeah.
True. Very true, Cheese. Joe, can we get an update on your meeting with Jordan Dawson? Oh, bro, I traded Dawson out, and thank Jesus for that, honestly. Mate, Dawson was gone. I was a little bit nervous in the first quarter because I traded Dawson to Sarong. And Big J will know, I was sweating bullets when Dawson was on fire. Dawson was on 35? Yep. And Sarong was up on 12 or something. It was scary. But thankfully, Dawson went to sleep and went to shit like I thought he would. And then Sarong bounced back. So thank God I traded him out before he lost cash. If you still hold Dawson, I think know what
Corey's been talking about him as well, saying, hey, look, I've got Dawson. What do I do?
Dawson's lost money and he's going to continue to lose money. Now, ideally, the week you traded Dawson out was last week, just before this last game when he was still full price and you can make the most of it. Dawson just doesn't look right. It's not even just the fact that he wasn't being clean with his disposal. There was a good portion of the game where he just went missing. He just disappeared. And he only started to get the ball when they moved him into the back line. Him as a midfielder hasn't been working. For some reason this year, it hasn't been working. And it's no surprise that Adelaide have also started really slowly as a result. So I don't know if they're going to move him out of that midfield mix, have him play off half back, but honestly, he doesn't look likely to bounce back and start scoring really well. If you guys own Jordan Dawson, I don't want to be that guy to say give up on him. But I honestly think there are so many better players out there currently at the moment who are in good form, and you can free up some money. Yes, it won't be full price, but it's better than nothing. Because as long as he's out there continuously giving you no more than he's not even scoring 100. He hasn't scored 100 yet this year, and we're now entering round four, and he still hasn't hit 100 yet. So, as Velo says, he thinks he's Dawson Leary from Dawson's Creek. So, if you own Dawson, I think you're in that unfortunate situation where you can trade him out, lose a bit of money in the process, or just stick fat with him. Because how much has he dropped in price this week? How much has he dropped?
A decent amount.
Jordan
amount, I think.
Dawson. Where is he?
So he's already dropped like 70K. Yeah.
57K.
Yep. But one of the big stats with Jordan Dawson is something to have a look at is when he's in the team and Matt Crouch is in the team, Jordan Dawson doesn't seem to score that well. So, yeah, for those people that have held him, it's a rough one. Really is. High break even as well. There's no way he's going to get a 174 or get close to a 174. So, yeah, a lot of us are going to be you're in a tough pickle there.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you've got Dawson, I think you just let him go. It sucks. But he's got a teammate who's, what's worse, holding Dawson or watching Dawson's Creek free runs? I don't know, bro. I don't know. It's a pretty tough call.
Depends if you were born in the 1990s or not, I suppose, or the 1980s.
And it depends if you own Dawson or not. If you don't own Dawson, then of course Dawson's Creek is by far much worse. But if you own Dawson, and I think especially after quarter time when you were hopeful that yes, he's bouncing back in a strong way, and then he shits the bed like that. That's tragic. That's tragic. All right. So we've spoken about that. We'll go now to the Dogs and the Eagles. 3 goals in 4 quarters for the West Coast Eagles. That's pretty bad.
Yeah, there was a stat that came up. I think it was like halfway through the game, maybe into the third quarter, I think it was, where it was like, cool, West Coast was like 50 minutes or something. The stat had come up without scoring a goal. Like, cool. 50 minutes without scoring a goal. I think they were very lucky to get 3 players scoring over 100. And if you're Shaq, I don't know if Shaq's watching. I know he's talking in the stream at the moment in Discord. But, yeah, Jeremy McGovern was his pick. 470K, apparently taking all of the kickouts for West Coast. Booming kick. Maybe he's one that people should have jumped on last week. I'm not quite sure. But, yeah, it's a tough one, Joe.
I'm not going to trade in someone with such an extensive injury history. You start the injury risk, you don't trade them in. And Jeremy McGovern is an injury risk. So for me, I'm not looking to trade him in. If you have the cojones to do so, then congratulations to you. But I personally will not be going there. If you've got Elliot Yeo, I'm sure there are people out there who have Elliot Yeo. 29 disposals for 82 and 2 behinds. He left a lot of points out there, clearly. So he's got the role, obviously, playing as a full-time midfielder. So you're getting what you sort of were hoping to get. Plus, he wasn't overly priced. So him scoring an 82 isn't necessarily the worst. I think he was priced at 90 odd. So 82, considering his start of the season, isn't too bad. Hopefully he can bounce back strongly for you next week.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got Elliot Yeo, I think he's got a 110, 110, and then the 82. So in a more competitive game, they'd be doing a lot better. I'm pretty sure Elliot Yeo was on like 50 to 60 points at halftime as well, and they just completely fell off. So you're not in that much of a trouble there. At it's probably 480K now. You're laughing, right?
Yeah. I don't think anyone else owns anyone apart from a Harley Reid.
Yep. We may look to start jumping off him, to be honest.
Yeah.
He just hasn't been that great for us. I'll have to work out and see what I can do. I might not even get rid of him this week. We'll see what happens.
I mean, there's been an absolute beatdown when Harley Reid's 54 is equal to the worst player for the Bulldogs apart from the sub, right?
Yeah.
54. He's middle of the table for them, and that's the worst score for the Dogs.
And I know that you have someone sneaky in Buku Kamas who's now jumped out and scored an 82. So, yeah, fantastic pick, but really is a big beatdown. I don't know if West Coast Eagles rule or Humphreys or whoever else is watching the stream at the moment. Maybe they'll come and defend West Coast, but it's losses like this that North Melbourne had to suffer for a very long time. And it really has started to turn into, cool, who's playing West Coast this week, which is unfortunate.
It is a little bit. And Campbell Chester, we gave you your dues last week for having a decent game. You're back to your true self by the looks of things. Campbell Shitter, come on, bro. Come on. You got to do better than that. 7 disposals for 17. Come on, bro.
And he played the full game too.
Played the full game as well.
I scored, what did I score? 1903. And then how much did you score, Joe?
I scored shit. I didn't crack 1900. I scored 1879. Oh, I only dropped 4K. That's actually no, sorry. I actually went up this week. Despite dropping a 19, it's because I'm ranked very low. Don't get me wrong. Okay, that's obviously the reason why. But I actually thought I was going to lose rankings. So that's actually a good result for me. Oh my god.
Yeah, as Velo says here, I'm starting to play around with. I need to drop Samberry. He needs to go in the bin. But potentially, if Reed's only going to make 15K, there's a big thing, and we're talking about it on the Discord today, right? Harley Reid versus the other players who were top picks in their grades, and it's tough when you're this explosive midfielder type in a team that just doesn't score well or doesn't have a lot of good players around them. You just struggle. They've thrown Harley Reid against the bus and basically just said, "Cool, like you're going to play and then see how it goes." I would not be surprised, Joe, if Harley Reid gets rested this week. To be honest, that's my bold call for the week. I would because like McKercher's a better player, Sheasel's a better player. He's not doing the same things as Walsh and Rowell have done in their grades, and he's just slowly started to slow down, and it's not the right environment to have him in. It's not great.
Yeah, he's no good. But it's not that he's no good. It's just strictly in terms of the super coach selection. He's not an accumulator. Is his biggest problem, and and you don't necessarily have to be an accumulator in order to be a good footballer. It's just in terms of super coach scoring, just for the purposes of our game that we're trying to play. Look, I'm willing to hold him still. I do think if Harley Reid is the worst of your concerns, then I think you've got a very good team. So I wouldn't be in a rush. I think his job security is obviously locked in as well. And he plays his best around the ball. From here, he's rotating from half back to midfield. As long as he can get more midfield time, maybe this was a bit of a circuit breaker for him to play a bit more half back, and then potentially next week plays more midfield. Hopefully that would be better so he can get his hands on the pill. But I'm not looking to trade him out immediately. I do think I've got bigger concerns myself.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Barry's a pain in the ass, but outside of that, I think he's got to go.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of pain in the butt, Tim English is someone I've paid a lot of money for a 124.
He's scoring well. I think he's still what? Tim English is currently, if I just go to 3-round average. So let's go to average, right? Tim English is third. And the second one is Luke Jackson, who some people have in their forward line. Like, you're okay.
And one? And one?
Is Max Gorn.
Why don't I have Max Gorn, man?
Because you wanted Grundy for the cash gen after he came out and scored 133 in week 1. That's the tough bit. It's funny because I'm looking at upgrading Grundy to Tim English if I can afford it. Just a painful week, I think, for us super coaches here, and for yourself at the moment as well.
Mate, what's really annoying me with Tim English as a selection is he's obviously a good player, right?
Yeah.
This is the problem. Ruck contests, Sam Darcy has come in and he's only having 64% ruck contest.
But I think that's the thing as well, is that we saw at times last year where he was actually getting bullied out. And what that's doing, that 64% ruck time, is basically shoring up his ceiling. It's making it so shoring up his floor. So it's saying Tim English every week you're guaranteed a 115 plus, because you have so many different avenues of scoring around the ground that we go and put you in the forward line and you kick 2 goals, like what happened last week, right? You go and take some kickouts from the back line. You go and be useful around the ground. You're not just locked into the position, and making that happen means that your durability is a lot better as well. Yes, maybe you can't get huge monster scores, but I don't think the Dogs were that good in those games either, Joe. Like, it did feel like English was getting bullied out of the position a little bit in those games.
But look at this, 139, 134, 145, 139. Yeah, okay, an 88 there. 156, 133. Like, bro, where's this? Where is this? Like, I've paid up big bucks for you, mate, in order to give me big buck scores, and you haven't. So it's a little unfortunate. Yes, Velo, you can laugh at me. It is what it is. So be it. Seems like English has lost his huge ceiling with his less CBAs. Yeah, exactly. Like, he's fine. He's fine to have, but he's currently overpriced. If we're only going to get 120s out of him every week, a roundabout, then he's overpriced.
I am very, very comfortable in throwing away Grundy and getting English in. Companies buy. Like, round 5, I think he's going to be, like, this week was a real pressure test for people. And I know myself, I'll harp on it again, but $2 million not playing on my bench. Round 5, I know personally I've got 5 players that are out, and like 4 of them are primos. So you need to start planning for Grundy not to be in your team, and English at like 200K. I'm more than happy to yell out English every time English does something for the next like 8 weeks. Like, I'm just happy. It's going to be fun.
English is going to start getting bulk CBAs again when you trade him in.
That's what I want. Is that not what I want?
I know that's what you want. That's not what I want. I want him
we're happy.
No, I'm not
to look
happy.
out for in this game. So Bont did not have a great game. Unfortunately, I spoke about him being my captain this week. Something to look out for a little bit. He was very lucky that he kicked the 3 goals, I think. And if you have a look at someone else, I know a few people in here have Tom Liberatore. He did get subbed, and there's a bit of talk at the moment that he's gone in for scans because he might have a bit of an injury. So something to watch out for those people that have got him. But yeah, it's a tough one. I'll see if I can find it. Tom Liberatore injury, because it's
and
not
that's
great.
the concern that we had, right? The age. Obviously, he didn't have a concern last year.
No.
Yeah, players get injured, but the older you get, the more likely you are to get injured as well. So it goes hand in hand. Who else is there? Buku Kamis. I'm really happy with him. An 82 on my bench in the forward line, and he's going to get defensive DPP, which is going to come in absolutely clutch for me doing some rigmarole with the trades. Buku Kamis going to slot into the back line. Plus, he's going to make some good coin for us. And this 82 is going to be in his price cycle for the next 3 weeks, which is awesome.
Good position for you and the other 0.5% of people that actually own Buku Kamis. Like, at this point, I feel like jumping on Dempsey just because I'm behind the pack at the moment.
Plus, 95% time on ground as well. So he's clearly got a tank as well, which is excellent.
There's a reason why North Melbourne and half a dozen other clubs were trying to get Buku Kamas to come to them. Like 100%, there's a reason why. The guy's a good player, has always kind of, been around the mark, but never really there. There's just a reason why. And I think Buku Kamas is starting to shine through. It's an interesting position because this year we've got Buku Kamas, we've got Bramble, we've got all these other guys. And people like Caleb Daniel are kind of getting pushed aside a little bit or forced to play other positions. So, yeah, I didn't think the Dogs would have enough spots in their backline to be able to warrant all these new players coming in, but they're doing quite well.
Yeah. Riley Sanders and then a 77. Look, it's not the worst.
Cool. Totally agree.
Awesome. Very nice. So, yeah, Sanders a 77, 20 disposals. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. So, 6 tackles as well, which is really good. As long as he can play.
It's going to be, yeah. Keep going. Sorry.
You don't think he's going to make us some good money?
He's going to make us some money, but I don't think he's going to end up being the keeper in our forward lines that some people had hoped that he was going to be. He's probably going to get DPP, but I can totally see his price just averaging around that kind of 350 mark, and maybe that's good enough, but that's probably what we're going to get.
Yep. Tommy's saying it's too late to jump on Kamas or Dempsey in the forward line.
There you go.
You reckon, Tommy? I don't know. I got Chandler. It's a question. Okay. It would sound like a statement. Look, I got Chandler in last year 1 week after his first price rise. So I actually paid up a little bit for Chandler last year, and it still worked out really well. He still made me over 100K. And I think with the way, I think these two players, Kamas and Dempsey, I think you can afford to go on them even after one price rise, because obviously you're not going to get the full value out of them as opposed to if you got them in earlier. But as long as they can make you over 100K for the rest of their cash gen, then it's still a successful trade. Whether it's a Billings type to him, for example, if you have him and you maybe don't want to go with Sam Darcy, who's only chalked up a 54 here. I know someone mentioned before that they don't trust. It was you, actually. You don't trust Darcy with Bevo and that forward line. You never know if Rory Lobb comes back into the side, for example. So you think Rory Lobb's done?
Yeah.
You think Darcy's that's it? Darcy's cemented himself in the team.
Yeah, I think Rory Lobb's basically turned into cool. You're going to be coverage, but they know Darcy's the future. Rory Lobb, maybe he's good as a forward these days, but he's getting pushed out by other forwards as well, so he can't even do that. The team just looks awkward.
But I still think you have to get Sam Darcy in there. Yeah, exactly. Negative 92. His break even it's ridiculously low because he scored over 100 last week or around 100 last week. So I think Sam Darcy, this might be a week you double downgrade.
If you don't want to spend a boost, there is quite a few good players around the mark that you may have to get in, be it a Steele, a Crouch. Lockie Whitfield as well, I think, is really, really good. But yeah, it's true. It's true. 100% it's true. You start looking at guys like Tom Hawkins and they start putting out podcasts of, I'm doing all this extra stuff. Come check me out on the farm. I'm building my social media profile because they know like their season's over. They're not season over, but their time as an AFL player is slowly coming up, and this is what these guys are going to start doing. Congratulations to Lob. Moved to Melbourne. Got paid huge money. Like, he's done.
Yep. Exactly. And that's very fair, Paul. Absolutely. I think if you had to get one of the rookies between Dempsey or Kamas, I think it's got to be Dempsey. I think the way Dempsey's playing, I guess we can sort of look at him. He's been wonderful. 102 Dream Team. And
we were very lucky. I was very, very nervous not owning Dempsey in this game.
Yeah. Correct.
He just looks so good, Joe. And an 86 for those owners, like, as you were about to say, he's projected 100 this week.
Yeah.
Like, Geelong needs these players in their team.
And he's playing high. He's not just playing in the forward pocket. He's pushing high. He's helping into defense. He spent time on the wing as well today. So Dempsey's just looking so good. And I think he's absolutely, even if you've missed him now, I do think you can trade him in this week and you'll still make 100K owning him because he looks like his best 22 and he's not going to be the sub and he looks absolutely wonderful. And it's tough because he looks exactly like two other players on their team. Every time he does something, we think it's him, but it might be Cam Guthrie instead. But they have the exact same hairstyle at the back. But yeah, he looks so good, Ollie Dempsey. He looked great in the preseason. We spoke him up, and he would have been in my team if not for Tom Powell. I think being more important for me to get in, whereas Ollie Dempsey, yeah, 100% get in my side this week. I think. All right, we'll talk about. I think we've finished talking about the dogs.
Yeah,
then
just to watch out for. Like, let me check quickly who's playing West Coast. So next week, West Coast is playing Sydney. So I know I've spoken about James Jordan, and there's been quite a few talks about James Jordan potentially being a trade or not trade. Depending on what happens, I may offload him. I really wanted an 80 and not a 65. And I saw when he was on like 35 at halftime, oh, wait, we're not going to get that bounce back in the goal score like we had last week to bump up his scoring. But he is playing a depleted West Coast. So it is something to factor in. But it really is like whoever beats up on West Coast. It happened with North Melbourne last year and a couple of years ago. Whoever's playing North Melbourne is going to go big, especially in the key forward department. And there's a couple of teams this year it's slowly starting to work out, Joe. Richmond is one of them. North Melbourne is slowly becoming one of them. And West Coast is 100% one of them. Like, if your primos are versing them, they're either a captain score or a vice captain or, hey, look, I can wait a week on getting them in, or I must get them in this week because they're playing these players. Yeah. And Heaney was great last week as well. Like, there's a reason why a lot of us are not getting rid of Brodie Grundy this week, and it's because he's going to go 170 on BJ Williams. Like, it's tough, but it's going to happen. So, yeah.
We say that. Who's the ruckman? Where is he? Nankervis only scored 73 this week.
Oh, they just got smashed. They 100%. They just got beat. Yeah, it's not great.
Fair enough. Yeah, this is Richmond. I don't know why I mentioned that. The ruckman for against the Eagles was freaking BJ Williams. I should have pulled up the BJ Williams one as opposed to Nankervis. I don't know why I was looking up Nankervis there for a second, but that was
and BJ Williams, to be fair, still scored an 85. But everyone who plays against BJ Williams is always having a big game. Like,
for sure. Yeah, Isaac Heaney. If you didn't start him, you're absolutely crying. You would have seen Aiden Song.
He's just 460k. I mean 590k, but he's 590k and has a break even of 63. And if he gets his projected, which is a monster 147, let's be fair. He could end up scoring very well for us.
Grundy 114, 21 hitouts against the Tigers. You would imagine he'd hopefully back that up and do better against BJ Williams. So that's why we're holding him. Now, if he does go big, he's going to have a lower break even coming out of his bye. Do you then hold him still through the bye, or do you just still trade him out regardless? What's Grundy's break even? Sorry.
Let me just check. Grundy's break even 72. So 72? He can make you a little bit more money, but at some point you're going to have to offload him because I just don't think he's going to be a keeper. He's going to have decent games, which I think he's had the last 2 weeks, but the ceiling's not there compared to like an English and stuff. And because he had that score of like the 68, which may come out of his weekly round, I think maybe this week. So if he scores the 115, the 68's out. It could drop his break even further, which might mean a bit of a price increase, but it's a tough one.
Who do they then play? Who do the Swans play after that then? Off their bye.
Off their bye? Let me just check.
Not Facebook. I want AFL. I'm going to go to fixture.
So we're looking at round 6. So round 6, Swans play Gold Coast. So potentially Witts is back. I'm not sure by that point. Ned Moyle might be an easy beat up on, but yeah, we'll see. I'm not sure if Witts is back by then. I just don't think you can keep him.
Sure. Fair enough. Blakey, Lizard, love his work. Matt Roberts, bro. 27 disposals, 8 marks.
If you did not start Matt Roberts, you're in a lot of bother.
Delete
Because a few of these players, well, you don't delete your team. You still play for the centre bounce. You still play for our prizes, right? But yeah, if you didn't start Matt Roberts, you're in a little bit of trouble. The guy's a freak. He could almost be like a D6 keeper, like D6, D7 keeper for a lot of us in the back line. If he keeps this up, right? He's 286K, negative 28 break even. He looks very, very good.
Unreal. Errol Golden. I don't know how many people still own him. 22% still own him. Wow. They'd be very sad with that. Very sad. With a 73. That's rough. Yeah, he'll be juicy for us. He'll be very juicy. Can't wait for Adams and Mills and these guys to come in so that Errol can play that outside game and dominate. He will be very juicy by that point. Papley sucks shit, Tom. Talking big, calling us fake tough. Fake tough. Really? What'd you do? 1 goal 3 and lose to the Tigers? Yeah, piss off, Papley, you piece of crap. James Jordan is a 65. Obviously not what we would have liked to see playing at the MCG, but he's still going to make us good money.
Yeah, no, definitely. He's in the bin. I'm trying to figure out trades at the moment. I needed an 80. I needed an 80 to kind of warrant keeping me next week. And cool, he comes out. James Jordan needs to reset his cash gen, which everyone who's watching, get James Jordan because I've traded him out. So you guys will probably be able to do really well. That's kind of the thing. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
I'm kidding, Paul. I'm kidding, but kind of not really kidding.
At some point, the pick, you could just have to warrant, cool, James Jordan, at some point, was he a failed pick? And it's slowly getting to that point. Like, he's not averaged as much as we thought. Comes out with a 70 or an 80, he goes up 15K. Like, myself, who brought him in on his price increase, cool, I've made like 50K from it. It's not... The best thing about James Jordan is him plus a rookie equals like an early price premium. Like, that's basically James Jordan at this point.
See, I'm shaking my head because this was the reason why I faded him in the first place.
Yeah.
Like, I'm literally shaking my head because I didn't want to spend 275K on a winger. And wingers don't give you the best scoring. And I'm shaking my head now at why was I sucked into those early prices, those early scores that we got before? When, you know what I mean? Like, you do your research and you make these calls, and it just sort of annoys you when you realize that had you just backed in your judgment from before, you wouldn't be in that situation to begin with. So, but it is what it is. He would have made us money this week. I'm happy to hold him. I think potentially one more week this week. He's got the Eagles. So hopefully he can do really well. How did wingers do against the Eagles last in that previous game? The Bulldogs showed us.
Yeah, I think Guns and Rookies would have played this week, like this season. I think Guns and Rookies would have been fantastic because you would have had a Dempsey and a few of the other players.
So Vandermeer are half forward, rotating. Bont was forward. How'd the wingers go? Gallagher did well, an 89.
Well, they just beat up on them. So it's kind of hard to figure it out. It really comes down to kind of, cool, what ground are you playing on and things like that for next week.
They're playing, it's Gather Round this week.
Yep.
So they're playing in Adelaide somewhere. I doubt it would be Adelaide Oval. There's no way they'd play West Coast at Adelaide Oval. They're going to give him Norwood or something. I would imagine. Or Adelaide Hills.
Adelaide Hills, yeah.
I don't know the dimensions of Adelaide Hills, so I don't know. But surely, with a break even of 44, James Jordan beats that. Sure.
Potentially. It really comes down to what your plans are for this week. There's still a few players. We'll talk about it in the next video, maybe in the Hawks part. But you can still jump on a Dempsey. You can still jump on a bunch of other players and do very, very well. and these guys who may be just good bench coverage or may, going to make you a lot of money. So James Jordan, in that sense, cool, survives a week. If you don't want to spend a boost this week, James Jordan lives. That's basically what it's going to come down to. Because you need a Darcy in your team. You probably need a Sam Draper for a read. Maybe you fade a Dempsey and these other players. James Jordan survives. But next week is dead because you're going to have 5 players out. Like, I look at my team, right? I have 5 players in my team next week who are going to score very, very well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got Nick Dacos out. I've got Roberts out, who's been pumping out, close to 100 scores the last 2 weeks. Grundy's out, Heaney and Jordan. So ideally you keep Heaney, and ideally you keep Nick Dacos. So what are my 3 trades going to be? Roberts, Grundy, like Jordan? I've obviously got bench players to come in and things like that, but it's almost too much to hold. So you need to get rid of one of these players now so you can actually make other trades next week. Because the good teams are going to, I've got Heaney, I'll swap him out. Like, I won't trade him. I've got good bench cover. Dempsey covers Heaney for a week. Things like that. So, yeah, you don't want to get further behind.
Nick Vlaston, unreal. What a performance.
I think he's only going to get better too, because there's no Noah Bolter for like 6 weeks. So I think he only gets better as well.
Is he a shout, Vlaston?
I think McGovern is more of a shout than Nick Vlaston, to be honest.
Nah, McGovern's much more injury prone than Vlaston, isn't he?
Yeah, but if he doesn't get injured, he's going to score 100 every week. Just off, like, cool, I take 90% kick-ins. Like, doesn't matter. And I intercept. And I do everything.
What was a kick-in breakdown for Nick Vlaston? I'm pretty sure he had a lot of kick-ins, I would imagine. Where would I go? I'd go to live scoring, I think.
Lachlan, I don't think Flanders is a must-have, but getting him in your team is very, very important. Like, you can fade a lot of these players, but he's guaranteed at the moment to be a top 6 forward. So it's going to be tough not to have him. Lost and stolen shorts kickouts. Makes sense.
Yeah, it doesn't tell us how many kickouts just yet. I don't think so. But I honestly, I don't know about Vlaston. I reckon Vlaston could be in for a really good selection almost if he's taking kickouts.
Yeah, fantastic score, Julie. You must be pretty happy with that. Almost cracked the 2K, which would have seen you jump up even further up the rankings. So yeah, glad you traded Oliver Dempsey. He's someone who I may bring in this week. I just don't know if I can do it to myself. That's all.
There you go. Look at that. 5 kick-ins.
Yeah.
This is Vlaston. He's talking about Vlaston.
No. I think he's talking about me being. I was talking about Shannon Hearn, but yeah, Vlaston looks good.
Wait, are you talking about Vlaston or what?
I was talking about McGovern, and I think Tommy was talking about McGovern, but Vlaston looks good.
Bro, he's a freaking fair shout, bro. He's actually a fair shout. I mean, you look
at the problem is they have the round 6 bye.
Yeah,
which kind of sucks.
I mean, he played round 0, 118, round 1, 134. What happened here? Why did he only score 71 in this game playing off centre half back? 2 frees, 4, 16 disposals.
I just don't think he touched much of the ball.
Yeah, 16 disposals isn't great.
Was he made to play like just defensively on someone? Probably.
Could have. What was that game? He played against Port Adelaide. Port. At the MCG. I don't know why he didn't score great. What happened?
Maybe it was put on like Charlie Dixon or something. And that was it.
Liam Baker, 140. I might have to watch that game.
Yeah. Port
had 3
calls. Yeah, kind of what happens, I suppose.
So when he's allowed to play, so if he's up against opposition that doesn't have 3 tools, he's pumping out ridiculous scores. So
he's their interceptor, right? That's what it's looking like. He's their intercept player. So yeah, chuck him on the watch list, Joe.
Great time on ground. He's got 100 average 2 years ago, a 92 last year. He's now on track for a 122. He's taking kick-ins. He's ticking a lot of boxes here. 13 marks. I don't know how often you're going to get 13 bloody marks, right? That's ridiculous. But still, 6 marks, 9 marks, 4. It's sustainable. Actually, no. 9 marks for 118, 6 marks for 134, 13 marks for 167. If he only got 4 marks, he went 83 last year. I don't know. Maybe if you have the cojones to go Vlosten, I'm not going to say no, but I might not. I'm not going to go there myself. All right. Well, who else is there from Richmond that we care about? Not really. Seth Campbell, 43. He went 80 something last week for a 43 this week, so he's essentially halved his score. But hey, if you got him on the bench, then you're not sort of upset about that. And Sonzi, disappointing. He looked really good in the preseason, and I think a lot of us were looking to trade him in when he comes off, when he's on the bubble. But with a 33 in his price cycle, you can probably afford to wait a week before even trading him in, so you can have a look and see.
It's going to be really interesting to see what happens, because I think they've just lost 2 people down back, or at least 1.5 in Nolan Bolter as well. So does things change with them? I think it might be Brown. I think it's the first week. I know Tom Brown's still there. So yeah, we'll see what happens with them.
Mate,
Richmond's just
owning Jaden Short must really hurt at the moment. 60 points. 60 points. That's pretty bad. All right. Hey, Brad. Congrats on the win, Brad.
He's changed his picture now.
Well, he's very happy.
Brad. Yeah, I'd be very happy too. Once North Melbourne wins, I'm going to change my picture and be like, that's it. Rest of the year, North wins, I'm happy. How you going, Supercoach God? I did not score that well. I scored just over 1,900, and Joe just scored under 1,900. So
I scored under 1,880. Under 1,880. This is very tragic, and a lot of it was due to Max Gawn. So it is what it is.
Or not only Max Gawn, not due to Max.
Exactly. Correct. Exactly. All right. This was the last game. Cracking game. Literally a cracking game with lightning cracks as well. So 10-10-70. The Hawks came out firing after the wet weather delay, and the Cats just did what the Cats do, and they managed to hold them off. Warple was built and born for these types of games, which is something that a lot of the people that really wanted to own Giant Newcomb was hoping he would flourish in those conditions, but he ain't him. I'm sorry, guys. We've been talking about it all preseason. Whenever anyone wanted to talk about Giant Newcomb, and I just said I can't see it. I just can't see where the exploding growth is going to come from for Giant Newcomb, and he just hasn't fired as of yet. So
it doesn't help when Hawthorn gets completely demolished, and they were very lucky to have that bounce back. I think they started to come through in the second and third quarter, and by the fourth quarter, I think they just basically held still. Obviously, this was the game that was a bit extended due to the lightning. I don't know if you watched it, Joe, but yeah, Melbourne was very, very wet. Obviously, you're in Melbourne, but you know what I mean. And yeah, Jai Newcomb, as you say, Joe, I think was one of those people. There are a lot of players around that kind of mark that we were like, they're going to score well, they're not going to score well. And very, very speculative pick. Very speculative. Like, I think if Hawthorn were a much better team, Jai Newcomb would be scoring a lot better. But he just got no ball delivery at all. Like, if you're a burst player, it's like Harley Reid, right? If you're a burst player through the middle, what are you expected to do in this game? You just can't do it. So, yeah.
Exactly.
He's saying here, why couldn't Warple do this for me last year? It's like, yeah.
I owned him last year as well, Cheese. I also owned him last year. But it's that classic, Joe picked him last year. He's going to pop off this year. Him, Nazaya, all these players that I started last year going bananas this year. So, he got, and Tanner Bruin as well. Look at Tanner Bruin. Before, 86, that's very decent in the wet. So, hey guys, who did I pick this year that's going to do really well? Martin. Yeah, Nick Martin's going to be a primo next year. Start him. Start him next.
Well, we might have to the way that he's going. If he keeps popping out 130s, like Nick Martin, get in my team next year.
Exactly. Corn gets points for breathing. Yeah, I know, bro. I know, Brad. It sucks. It sucks as a non-owner. It's tragic. Meanwhile, God, comeback season. Well done, mate. Keep it going. Keep it going.
Gonna smash it. Done.
Smash it. Sicily, 89. Still very good.
Yeah.
Looking forward to seeing him drop in price even more for us.
Well, that's it. I just don't know if he's a pick, to be honest. I think there's a few really good defenders at the moment, and Sicily might just not be one of those players this year. I don't know if he kicks out a Stewart or a Houston or a Luke Ryan or even a Whitfield and a few of these other guys. So, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, Tanner Bruin's a piece of shit cheese. I freaking hate Tanner Bruin.
That's not very nice.
I know, Velo. He played all the CBAs. What's his time on ground? What's his last year? Sorry, wait. What's his time on ground, Tanner Bruin? Last year?
63.
63. Okay. Yeah, like it's bullshit. Where was this last year?
Yeah.
Freaking ridiculous, bro. It's disgusting. Carl Amon, 73. Obviously not what people would have hoped for. Massimo D'Ambrosio. I broke him, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I don't know if like obviously he's jumped up. I think he jumped up 70k this week. And he does have a break even of 13. So he's gonna make us some money. But this game was just weird. And it wasn't even a case of, it was wet. Because he wasn't getting a good score in the first 3 quarters before it started to really drench down. Or at least the first, half of the game before it started to get super wet. So, yeah, as Velo says here, Mass played wing, not half back. And they were playing the ball a lot more through Cam McKenzie. I saw up on the wing as well. So, versus him. And even Connor McDonald, I think, touched a few more off the wing as well. So, yeah, you had to get him in due to the cash gen, similar to a PAL, but it's a rough one.
Damn, Massimo, damn you, Brosio, damn you to hell. Now, guys, if you haven't noticed this, another tip for when you want to do some research, okay, for the live tips. So here, this is the AFL app on the phone, all right? You go to players, all right? Go to players. And then you scroll to the player that you want to go to. In this case, I want Massimo. You click on Massimo. Now you will see he has the general heat map, and it says all. But you can get a statistical breakdown quarter by quarter. So we can see in quarter 1 he had 4 disposals, and they were all mostly on a wing, as you can see. Quarter 2. He was playing freaking forward quarter 2. This is ridiculous. 4 disposals as well. Quarter 3, 7 disposals. And it's no surprise. Look where he's playing. Around the football. That makes sense. And then the last quarter, 1 solitary touch, which is tragic. So Massimo did not have a great game. He was literally, as you can see in the heat map, completely faffed around, playing all over the ground. And that's not what we've seen from Massimo in the previous couple of weeks. He's been playing more wing and pushing into the back line, helping in the back line a lot more. That wasn't the case today. And we don't know if that's going to be persisting moving forward. If Sam Mitchell is just doing that Bevo magnet shit again in order to stuff us super coaches around. But Massimo plays his best when he's helping out in defense, not when he's playing this ringer role.
Yeah, it just looked weird from him. And I don't know if it was Mitchell trying to do something different because he knew he was playing Geelong and they tried to play a bit more of a faster game or something happened. But yeah, he was not happy halfway through the quarter as well. And I think he was playing. He was there in the forward line. Right? That's where he came and took his mark and almost kicked the goal.
Yep.
Like he was there. But I think it was more just a case of, hey, I need to get involved more than anything else. Like I've gone from having good disposal efficiency, good use off the halfback to now being relegated to the forward line. Like, it's not great. And I'm glad he's not a premium in our team. We've only used him for cash gen and everything like that. Yep. So, yeah, it's not terrible.
And the one thing though that you know what you're going to get from Mass is good ball use, and he had no clangers today, which is really good. Bro, Jonas, you're never going to let this go, are you? I did one spotlight video on him. One spotlight video on him. And he's calling me my much hyped guy. Come on, bro. Come on. Hey, Hippo. How's it going,
What's up, Hippo? How you doing?
Brad, Mass will come good. Was way too wet for him. Baller was pinballing like, probably. So, look, obviously don't trade him out. Obviously hold on to him. He's still got a low break even, and he will be a good player for us. He's a very good player. You don't become shit overnight. Hopefully, though, his role isn't stuffed around. Hopefully Sam Mitchell isn't stupid. But that's tough. Kind of lucky he didn't start DP3. I was never going to start DP3 if he's injured, Paul. Come on, man. Aussie Abroad is asking, is LDU a sell or just cop it and hold?
How much is LDU? Before we kind of get into it, check how much. Can you check me how much LDU is?
Yeah, sure. Classic.
I want to give the official Big J stamp of yes, do this or
Luke Davy Zuniak. His price is 602K. He's lost 32,000,
and he's got a huge break even
of 170,000.
You have to sell him. You have to sell him for 30K more. Like, you can still offload him to a Jack Steele or a Crouch or someone and make some money that you don't have in your team. I think you got to trade him, to be honest. I think he's got to go. As much as I hate it. North Melbourne fan, I love the guy. As much as I hate it, he's got to go.
Yeah, he was not good. He was not a good one. Again, you can just if you go to your trusted AFL app, and you can tell that he started to sort of junk it up. So you go to North v Carlton, you go to players, then you go to your LDU, and then you can start having a breakdown per quarter. So first quarter, 5 touches. Not great. Second quarter, 4 touches. Not great. Then he got into it. 12 touches in the third quarter, and then 6 touches in the last quarter. So he came alive when the game was dead and buried, which sucks, unfortunately. So yeah, don't go for him. I don't think. LGU got tagged. Keep him. We sell primos and we see what happens.
Yeah, well, that's it, right? I mean, like, we've just sold Young and Martin, so potentially it could happen. Yeah.
Anyone held Young and Bonner this week, Skits? No, I hold neither.
People did. I did not hold Young, and I'm not. It is what it is, right? We live, we learn. I've now got 31 trades left after my trades this week, so yeah, we'll be right.
Mate, Globes, just for you, brother. Now, I mentioned this before. Zach Merritt, I said his last quarters are something to behold. 12 disposals in the last quarter, if you don't mind. 5 contested.
He's a good player, yeah.
He's a gun. 2 intercept possessions. So, yeah, he's a gun. He's an absolute freak with 3 clearances. Yeah, so get around him. He's captain inspirational for a reason. There you go, Velo. We dropped the Hewitt tag at halftime, and there you go. It was a Hewitt tag, and all of a sudden, when Hewitt came off him, he was let free. So I guess that sort of is a bit nerve-wracking because I'm pretty sure Carlton play Freo this week, and you would imagine that they're going to send Hewitt to none other than Sarong, right? Who else would they go to?
Potentially potentially Brayshaw, but I think it's Sarong. I think the player's just too good to be able to do it. But Sarong plays differently. Sarong's kind of like Hewitt in himself. He's not a burst guy through the middle. He's that contested ball winner. So I don't know if he's as taggable as what like other people are. If that makes sense.
Yeah, but isn't LDU an in and under type of player as well?
But LDU has like the burst. So he'll get the ball and then just burst forward. Now, if you're tagging him, it doesn't allow him to do that. Versus a Sarong, which is the guy that stands there and just handballs or kicks the ball out of the stoppage.
Maybe. I don't know. I've seen Sarong bust his ass to sort of try and be involved in the play. I don't know. I think if anyone's going to cop the Hewitt tag, I think it's
if someone's going to get it. Yeah. If someone's going to get tagged, it will be Sarong. But it just depends on what's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. So, Zach Ferret, don't call him that, Jonas. Is actually durable as well, unlike that overrated dud Parish Priest. Jonas, I know, I love you, man. You know I love you. That's the only reason why I don't bite back. Paul, I could trade Jordan this week and grab Merritt. Is Jordan worth the trade? Noting Merritt won't really move on price.
So who's playing each? So Jordan, Jordan's playing West Coast. So there is going to be an element of hopefully he can do really well. Depends on if Taylor Adams is going to come in or not. Or just something to watch there. But it's a real tricky one. Real tricky one. I think, Zach, at some point you need to start upgrading your team. And as I said from before, I've got so many players in the round next week that need to go, that someone has to get cut this week. And if it's James Jordan, it's James Jordan. And I'm okay with that, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. How does Port do against mids? Let's have a go to AFL again. Get defense versus position. All right, and the last 5, Port Adelaide, have been really good against inside mids. And as Globe says, I wouldn't be surprised if they send Drew to him. Now, can Drew run with Merritt? I don't think he can. I think Merritt's running ability is probably very good, but I wouldn't be surprised if Drew lines up on him at stoppages. But I also want to see how Merritt goes with both Parrish and Setterfield in the team. I think Setterfield was touch and go this week. He was a late out. So, and Brad Scott before the game said that Setterfield could have played, but they didn't want to risk him early in the season. So potentially Setterfield and Parrish are both going to be getting bulk CBAs this week against Port Adelaide. And maybe they don't send Drew to Merritt because Merritt might have less CBAs than those guys. So I'm happy to wait. You don't have to get Merritt in this week. See how he goes with those 2 inside mids in, and then assess. Plus, we're playing at Adelaide Oval, which I think is a skinnier ground. Less room for him to work in and use his good ball use. What's the weather like as well? Adelaide Oval.
Right now it's raining.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But I'm on Adelaide Oval weather this week. Let's see. When do we play? We play Saturday? When do we play? What? I don't know when we play Port Adelaide this week. But what day is that? We're playing them on Friday. All right. What's the weather on Friday at Adelaide Oval? Oh, sunny. Yep. Sunny day. 23 degrees. It will be clear. Not too shabby. So that's not too bad for a ball user. It should be fine. Whether or not they bump up the pressure because they lost this week is a different story, though. However, but I'm happy to wait for Zach Merritt. Surely he doesn't continue pumping out these 130 type scores against the top 4 side or finalist side away with Setterfield and Parrish in the team. Wait a bit, but you do have to get him in eventually because our run opens up. Collingwood, he's going to torch him at the MCG. West Coast, he's going to torch him. Giants will be tough. North will be good. Richmond will torch. So you're gonna have to get Merritt in. We were hoping he's gonna start slower, but he hasn't. He started like a freaking house on fire. But yeah, you got to make sure you have a plan to get him into your midfield. If you haven't got Green, he needs to be in your midfield as well. Try and see how many of these top 8 caliber mids you can fit. Now, of course, you're not going to have all of them. It's next to impossible to have the top 8 midfielders in your team. But try and make some plans to get them in.
Yeah, no, I think so as well.
Is there a website you guys use that shows expected break-evens and cash gen over the next 3 weeks?
Yep, there is. If we head over to Footy Wire, you can 100% see it. So if Joe wants to pull up Footy Wire, Steve, 100%. So if you go to Footy Wire on the left-hand side, you go to Supercoach. Actually, no. Let's pick out a player. Steve, give us a player if you're in chat that you want us to have a look at.
He should be in chat. He literally just commented this question.
Yeah. Steve, give us a player in chat that you want us to look at, and we'll have a look at it for you. But yeah, Footy Wire's got everything, all that kind of stuff. It's not been updated because break-evens happened today, but it does have like next 3 weeks worth of projections. So
yeah. Hopefully if you had to choose between Stewart or Ryan to trade in this week, which would you go, Stewart or Ryan?
Oh, it's an interesting one. I don't think I would pick Ryan. I think Ryan's good for a 130 every week. And I think, yeah. So pull up Bramble, Joe. So on the right-hand side, you scroll down. No, scroll down.
Oh, all right.
If you go to are you on the main page? Go to the main page.
No, I'm on the Supercoach page.
No, just press Footy Wire at the top. Cool.
All right.
Yep, you're on the main page. You've just logged on to Footy Wire. Scroll down.
Yep.
Scroll down. There. So view player profile just on the right-hand side. We're going to put in Bramble from Western Bulldogs. There you go. Just so Steve can kind of get it so you can practice at home. And then we're going to press Supercoach profile. Now, it won't be updated as much because tomorrow it will be updated, but not right now. And if we scroll down, cool. So there you go. So it has his expected score and his expected price rise over the next 3 weeks. So this week he went up 55, and then next week he'll be 173, and then it's expecting that if he keeps up his current average, he will be 15 and then 389. So if that gives you a kind of understanding, then there you go. It is based off his current average. So if he has a monster game, then it doesn't have a monster game. He'll go up by that much, but it's a free version. It'll just get updated tomorrow because obviously break even. So yeah, just something a bit different.
Yeah. And I know Captain Flash wants McGovern.
What's up, Luke? How you doing?
Hey, Lukey. How's it going, bro? So if you want McGovern, so you go to West Coast, and where is he? Jeremy McGovern. You press go. Supercoach profile. And there he is. So his break even was 33. He's a 100% chance of making it. And if his current price is 518.
So if he keeps up with 124 average, which may or may not happen, next week he'll go up 47, and then the week after he'll go up and go up and go up. So,
yep, 32. Yep. So there it is. But yeah, you just hope his body doesn't break down, and that's why I like to say you start the injury-prone player as opposed to trading them in, because if you trade them in and then his body breaks down, well, then you've just wasted a trade. You have to trade them back out again.
Yeah. As Pro says, you can do it through Supercoach Gold as well. But if you don't want to pay the money, you don't have to.
Yeah, so I've paid here for Supercoach Gold, for example. It's given you the break even, and if you scroll down a bit, with his upcoming fixture, you can see his break even is 114.
If he hits his projected, that's going to be that.
And if he hits his projected of a 125, he'll go up 5K. And then his break even, he's projected next week's 124. He's projected to go up $100. You know what I mean? So yeah, Supercoach Gold does provide all this information here. But if you don't want to spend for the Supercoach Gold, as Lukey says, I spend way too much time on Supercoach to not get Supercoach Gold. This the value that I suppose is presented here for you is probably there. So it's not too expensive, but hey, if you want to do it, you can. Check McGovern on FootyWire versus Supercoach Gold. But you say that the stats have been updated. All right, so if the stats have been updated, then excellent. We'll take your word for it, Velo. Excellent. VC Gorn, if you have Gorn this week.
I think this is the week that there's so many VCs. I was going to go bring in Mackay to my team, and now I've got a VC him, and then I've got like Heaney's a good VC option as well, and potentially Gauntlet Joe.
Well, what do we got this week? Who are we playing this week? Let's see. Round 4. Oh, yeah, Gorn. Nah, Thursday night VCs very rarely work out, I've noticed. Yeah. Shazel could go big against Brisbane.
Nah, I was looking at Zach Butters versus you guys as my VC option.
Yeah, he could do all right. Bro.
And then Zach Butters, Zach Butters into Heaney.
Bro, why are we so far outsiders? Mate, we're going to beat Port this week.
Put some money on it, Joe.
Up the flipping planes, bro. Yes, hoops. We're going to make the 8? Well, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know about that. But Port are not beating us this week.
Mm-hmm.
You heard it here first. Port are not beating us. They're expecting a Port revenge game. Fair enough, but it's not happening. Not against our midfield, mate. Our midfield's top-notch. $11 for the West Coast Eagles. That's pretty funny. It's pretty funny.
I would have laughed if they came out and beat the Dogs.
Mate, we're going to destroy you legit 50-point thrashing.
Fellow, give me the Goss fellow, Harry Mackay. What are we going to do? Good or bad pick? I know he's gone up in price, but let me know.
Hey, Jack, what was your tip last week? Did you think we were going to beat St Kilda? Let me know. Brad, Port smashes by 60. Bro, Brad, I heard you talking smack about our team, not going to beat St Kilda. You keep those sunnies on at night. Don't you worry. We're gonna beat Port this week. I'm pretty confident. Especially with Setterfield back in the team. Eagles against... it's hard to go past Heaney against the Eagles. Like, come on. Carlton v... Yeah, I wouldn't go any of the Freo boys. I would not go anywhere near any of the Freo boys. English or Bond against the Cats will be tough, I think. Tom Green could go really big, fresh, off a bye against the Suns. They're both fresh off their buys. But if I had to pick one, I reckon Green. No one can go head-to-head with Green. Rao will go close, but I think Green is just a different specimen. Marshall, if you own him, could do okay against Richmond. And do you have the cojones to go Dacos against the Finn McGuinness tag? Is Finn playing? You don't.
You don't.
So, yeah, it's tough. It's so tough. Obvious matchup is the Swans. And for that reason, might just do this. And I don't have Gorn. If you have Gorn, potentially, I might just VC Heaney into English. I think that might be my best option, I think. Personally for me. With how my team is. All right, geez, a lot of comments has come in ever since then. Bramble was a huge pod. Yeah, for sure. 100% he was.
Yep. If you started him, you'd be very happy. I think a lot of us just didn't because of that inflated price. And, Dogs backline players, I kind of said it at the start, he's not, not great.
Jordan Clark, a good option. Burgaroo, Jordan Clark, I think is
I love Jordan Clark. I think Jordan Clark's fantastic. I think we should all try and have Jordan Clark in our teams.
Yeah.
He just looks very, very good, and he's playing half back, and he runs and kicks and takes kickouts, and yeah, the guy's a freak. He's really breakout year. A lot of people around his kind of age group. So if we have a look at what year was Jordan Clark? 1 second.
So it wasn't just this year. Even his end to the year last year, playing at halfback, like he started on a wing and then was slowly migrated to play halfback. And ever since he got used to the role, he's done really well. So
even
ever since So if we just take an average of all the games where he's been moved to halfback, he's got an average of 102. Yes, it's only 8 games. But he's ticking a lot of the boxes. He's getting the pill, obviously. He's taking kick-ins, and he's playing on from those kick-ins more often than not. He's got great time on ground, and he's taking marks. He just and because he will always take marks because the way Freo play, and we weren't sure if Freo were going to continue to play that way, controlling the ball through marking. But so far, it's worked when opposition teams have got the jump on them, they've managed to control the pace of the game through marking. Now, whether or not that persists and actually works moving forward remains to be seen. Brisbane have been shit this year. Just plain and simple. Plain and simple. It's unfortunate, yes, but they've been crap, a shell of themselves. North, you don't anticipate them to be playing finals this year either, right? So they beat up on North Melbourne as well after a slow start. North just couldn't take the ball off them after that really hot start. And then they played against Adelaide. And Adelaide themselves aren't doing hot either. They haven't won a game yet. So they've played 3 teams that so far aren't looking to threaten the top 8. And for him to score big in each of those games is really good. But does that game style hold up against a team that is in good form and willing to challenge the finals? Playing a very strong, uncontested mark game style is not conducive to success moving forward. They've gotten away with it now, these first 3 weeks after very slow starts. How will this continue moving forward against better teams? We will see this week against Carlton for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. There is a lot of potential for his scoring, though, because of Hayden Young basically playing bulk, like mid-minutes now. He's taken over what was his role. So, does that keep up? I think it probably does. But yeah,
Jeez,
take the gamble. Take the gamble. It is a gamble.
Some biff happening here in the chats. Yes, Hoops. Fly the flag, Hoops. I love it. Jonas, Melbourne kicked 15-6 to beat Port. Port under 39 is a lock. All right, if you say so. Settle goats. Velo, Mackay has Freo and Adelaide next week, so we'll have Alex Pearce. Then Adelaide at Marvel, followed by GWS at Marvel, with either Taylor or Buckley, and then Geelong at MCG with De Koning as his opposition. Tough matches.
Yeah, it just depends. Who's going to take Curnow? Like Ethan Hughes or someone? Maybe. I don't know. So he's just cheap. I wish I had brought him in last week. I'm kind of just feeling down about it. But we'll see what happens in terms of bringing him into my team. I need to get 2 primos this week. And if it's not Mackay, it's someone else. So we'll wait and see for that.
Port will not be top 4, Jack. Port will not be a top 4 team. They're not. They beat us by under a kick last year at Adelaide Oval. And only because that dog flog of a player, Willie Rioli Jr., concussed Ridley. Up until that point, we were killing them. And because Ridley had to be subbed out because of the concussion, we had to send Langford behind the ball. Langford was torching them last year. Mate, if that didn't happen, that's just completely disrupted our setup. Corey, don't forget loops are too early this week. Livingston and Reed.
Yep. Which is where I think you get someone out of the Port game, and then you just move on from there really I think.
True.
Up to the Port game, Zach Butters, I think, is a fair shout, and then you just go on from there.
Yep, fair enough. Chris, guys, is it even worth looking at either of the potential defensive rookies this week, even if you have 2 injured?
Yeah. No, you have to. This week, I'm really tossing up between scores on field and then scores just in general, and I think holding on to dead rookies isn't a great thing. The only good thing about Reed is that most of us still have McKercher, Roberts, all these guys. So once DPPs happen, it's a free swap to like a forward midfielder or forward rookie or a rookie in another position. Even if like a Finbar or a Sellers or someone comes on from North Melbourne and they should play, you can potentially do the swap that week. So it's something to watch out for. But that'd be my only saving race with having like a Reed on the bench at the moment. You need to get rid of them. Guys not scoring points for you, not making you money isn't great. And I know I've just kind of played around with my team at the moment and trying to get these players in. It's like, well, I don't know how I'm going to get cash gen in the next 5 weeks. Like, I don't have a Dempsey. I don't have a Buku Kamas and these things. Like, some of these players almost become must-haves for us. So it's really tough.
Yeah. Fiddler, without any... How's it going, Fiddler? I'd say neither. I'd say get Jack Steele in. Personally.
But both of them are close to what their points are going to be. So you don't need to worry about it too much. They're not going to make a lot of money. And Jack Steele versus who is it, Essendon this week?
No, we've got Port this week.
Who's Jack Steele's playing some Richmond. Richmond. Yeah. And Jack Steele's just going to slap him. And he's going to jump up in price. And if you don't have a Jack Steele, you're in a bit of trouble. So yeah, something to watch out for if you don't have him. He's slowly pushing himself into my must-haves. But yeah, you've got to kind of get him in, unfortunately.
He's looking unreal. Sarong and Merritt. I think Sarong in particular is going to get the George Hewitt treatment this week. So don't expect a big score from him. And Merritt, I don't know, man. Merritt's he's full price at the moment. He's not going to go up much. Even if he maintains this absurd scoring, he's not going to stay at this price. It's more likely than not, with both Setterfield and Parrish in the team next week, that he will drop in price. So get Steele in now while he's still affordable. And Matt, how's it going? In Adelaide after a loss for gather round, going to get Missy Joe powered by 5 or 5 goals. We'll see. We'll see. He's cheap and means I could try and squeeze a Mackay. Well, we sort of saw Mackay's run. Might not be the best. Happen?
I'm still tempted.
Still tempted. Very well.
Brad,
would you be tempted to burn Marshall and grab Gawn?
Are you saying you've got Marshall now and you're trying to get Gawn, or the other way around?
No, he's got I think he's got
Marshall.
He's like me. I think he's like me with English and Grundy, and the plan was to get Marshall for Grundy. But do we burn Marshall? Do we not go Marshall, and do we actually get Gawn?
Yeah. The biggest thing with Gawn is going to will himself to play every week. Melbourne have no one. They have absolutely no one else. They've got a guy who's Category B player, I think, 211 centimeters, who's never played a game in his life. That's it. Tom Fullerton's out. Grundy's out. Bruce isn't in the team. There's no one else. Gawn as the captain is literally going to will him. You have to chop off Gawn's leg. And then maybe he plays with a peg leg, and he gets subbed off halfway through. You have to do that to get rid of Max Gawn. He's going to play every game of the season. They've got no one else. I don't know how consistent his scoring is going to be, but he's still very, very, very good. You got to chuck him in your team if you can.
Freaking hate Grundy. I hate Grundy for injuring him in that game so bad. I hate him. Hoops. I think I'm doing Jordan and Billings out, Darcy and Whitfield in. Why not? Whitfield? Bit of a pop.
I love Whitfield. Whitfield's fantastic. His next run, I think, is very, very good, and he's playing at some big grounds. My original plan this week was to go like Matt Crouch or a Steele and Whitfield, but the money just hasn't worked out. I didn't go as cheap as I probably should have. I should have grabbed Houston instead of Ryan. Potentially, I could have done it, Joe. And yeah, it's really hurt me just in the long run. So I think Whitfield's is fantastic.
Fair shout, Lukey. The Cojones C is Grundy against the Eagles.
There's so many good players. Like, we're going to talk about it in the captain's video on Wednesday, right? But if you look at like the scoring, let me just quickly pull up the I'm going to cancel my trade so I can do this. Cool. The first two games, there's probably no one. Butters versus Essendon. Then you've got Heaney versus Sydney. Then you've got someone versus Freo. Probably go Sarong or someone if you wanted to. Then your General Bond. Then your Whitfield, Tom Green, whoever against Gold Coast. Then Jack Steele against Sydney and potentially Dake. Like, there's so many options. Last week, I feel like there wasn't that many. But this week, there's a lot of options.
Yeah. True. Captain Flash, I can pick up one, Carroll or Sharp. Haven't they both already gone up in price?
Yeah, I think that, yeah. It's a little bit of a tricky one. If you had to pick one of the two, considering they are exactly the same price, which I find hilarious because they've got the same average, I would probably pick up Sharp, to be honest. I think Carroll's fantastic, but there's talk of Sam Walsh and a few other players coming back to that midfield. So that might affect Carroll a little bit more than a Sharp. I don't think anyone kicks out Sharp from his spot, but I think Carroll, there's some more competition for his spot now. So I don't think he's going to get dropped anytime soon because he's been good. But, yeah.
Yeah, Sharp's a winger. So he'll have, like last week, he'll have portions of the game where he just isn't involved and doesn't get a touch like for a long period of time. But again, there will be occasions where all of a sudden he starts to get involved in the play a lot. And there was a passage of play where he got the ball like 5 times in quick succession.
Yep.
And the good thing about Sharp is he doesn't take risky kicks to give clangers away. If there's nothing easy sideways to pass to, he'll either run and then just bomb it long over 40 meters, and that's all effective, mate. So you'll be fine. I think Sharp is the one. If you have to get one of them, I agree with the Sharp pick. As a Blues fan, it's risky taking Mackay. He's killing it, but don't think he's worth the super coach risk, Big J. There you go.
Yeah, but there's no one else. That's my problem.
Just get the rookies in. Just get the rookies.
I want to upgrade my team. I don't want to just like keep bringing in more rookies and more rookies. It just feels like I'm spinning my wheels here, and other people's teams are getting better, and mine's not, and it's not a great feeling.
Yeah, but you don't improve your team by adding in more mid prices. You don't do that.
I mean, you would assume Mackay is going to keep his spot and be a keeper in the forward line. I mean, that's the answer.
He won't be.
We'll see.
He's a key forward, bro. You just don't do that. I don't know. Rioli. Agreed, Tommy. Mate, just because you're top 4 last year doesn't mean you're top 4 this year. It is what it is. We're in a new season. It's a new season, Jack. We've got to live in the present. Sarong is a Lockie Neal, says Rodney O'Brien.
Yep.
I
would say that. Lockie Neal's obviously not Lockie Neal anymore, but Sarong is definitely kind of playing that type of role. The only way you stop Sarong is if you tackle Sarong, which kind of, in a sense, works but doesn't work. So, yeah, just something to watch out for there.
Yeah. Essen done. Thank the great Houston. Shut up, Jonas. It's not going to happen this week. Surely not. Joe, yeah, I know. As I'm reading the comments, I'm sort of thinking to myself, damn, who am I going to loop? Essendon, Zach Reed, he plays before these guys. Like, it would have to be a VC early on in the week. So, and then a captaincy on, because again, Eagles play early. I don't have any other loophole option either, unfortunately. So I might be limited with my options to maybe go Butters into Heaney, potentially. Or, I don't know. I just have a feeling Sheasel is just going to do really well as well. But I think I might just go with the ceiling of Butters into... Might just do Butters into
Heaney.
Into Heaney, yeah. If Howes scores well, don't worry about defensive rookies. If he gets a bad score, have to bring a defender in.
Yeah, maybe. It just depends. If I look at my defense pre-trades, I've got Williams and D'Ambrosio, D4, D5. And then I have to pick one of Howes, Reed, or Hall. Because either of those two players play. Like, maybe I can put one on the bench, but that's really it at the moment. So, yeah, it's a tricky one.
Whichever one I put on field, put the other one on field. Yeah, put the other one on. Don't do the same with if I'm
like everyone bring Ollie Wines this week, like because he's going to score well. That's just the way my life works at the moment.
Can you trade Wilson this week, Lukey? I'm really thinking about it. I know Catherine says it's one bad, maybe, but I think I can see myself trading Wilson if it means getting in someone who is like if you've missed a Dempsey, then you 100% I think should get him in if it means Wilson goes out because you know which one's going to make you more money and which one's going to give you better on-field scoring as well. So I might be trading Wilson out this week to get Dempsey in, Lukey. Yes, I know they're going to be not the same price, but I know that Dempsey's still going to make me more money in the long run for sure. Still captain. He's playing on a tiny ground, so yes, I would think so. Don't know why Matthew Anderson thinks Jackson will fall in the hole. Rather Took than Steele. Yes, Took's a gun as well, for sure.
You need to get him in your team, though. That's the only problem.
Yeah, Took is sharing midfield time. They'll rotate people. Steele, I think you guaranteed, you know exactly he's going to be the number one guy in the midfield. Bulk CBAs. Took is a gun, for sure. Don't get me wrong. But Steele just looks so good. He really does. Tackling machine. He's back to his best. I think if you have both, you're absolutely laughing at the moment. Paul, guys, thoughts on how many primo defenders we need right now? Is it 3 or 4?
It just depends on what your makeup is like in the backline, right? I'm a big advocate on going for 4 if you can, because a lot of us have Massimo and Williams, and then it's one extra. And a lot of us have a Zach Reed or not maybe Bukakumas, but Caulfield, things like that we still haven't got rid of. This year's a really weird year. I don't think we've had a situation so far where so many guys that were between that 450 to 500K range are now scoring premium level scores that like they're almost challenging the status quo, right? Like McGovern, for example, in the back line, outscored like majority of the defenders this week. Just things like that. So you can get away with a lot of more expensive guys and a lot of cheaper guys. I would say you need to be getting 4, though. If we look at kind of the defense, I'm just playing around with it at the moment. If we look at the defense, there's a few guys that are still underpriced. Let me just pull up my defense. We'll do a video on it this week. But McGovern's cheap. Lockie Whitfield's cheap. Jordan Clark's cheap if you like the role. Will Powell is cheap. 110 average at the moment. Dan Houston's still around the mark and things like that. So you're going to be able to grab these guys who are still really cheap and scoring quite well. That I think that's where the value is at the moment. And I think you've picked your starting primos. Once guys start to make a lot of money, then you can start to, bring in the more expensive ones. But round 4, round 5, like you're just bringing in the cheapest guys you can. If you can get 4, get 4.
Merit is a must-have from round 6 onwards. Yep, agreed, Velo.
Merit's been a must-have since the start of the season, basically. It kind of sucks, but like round 1, Merit must-have. Oh.
Yeah, I know, it sucks. Brad, I've got Bont, Sarong, Butters, Took, and Steele as his 5 mids. Brad, just flex on us more, bro. Can you flex on us anymore? You can't. You just can't. You're killing us. Well done, man. Well done. already have Steel, then get Took, Fid. Get Took. Burgaroo, I've got Bonserong, Butters, Green, and Steel. I've got 4 of those. I don't have Steel. I've got Flanders and
I have 2. No, I have 3. I have 3 of those.
Mackay's going to save Big JCs and just come down.
Mate, I need it. I need it. At this point,
Go on number 1 ruck this year. Yep. Fair enough. Jack, let's do a bet. If Port win, you get Houston in next week. I've already got Houston. Jack. I win the bet, I guess. You win the bet already. I need Gorn. Went English over him is annoying. Fair enough, Causa. How much money does Gorn go up this week? Can we afford to wait till Grundy's bye?
Gorn goes up. If he scores a 127, he's got a 78 break even. So he's going to go up 22K. So what's he going to be? He's probably going to be around that 655 mark. I would be safe to bet if he gets, scores 100-ish. So if you can afford 655, fantastic.
If you try, but he's got the bye the week after.
He does.
I think you just got to wait after his bye. I think.
Yeah. I think
what's the point of trading him in for one game?
I wouldn't be going in my team per se. I wouldn't be getting Gorn in. I'd be trying to get English in because it covers me through the next couple of weeks of buys. It's a real tricky situation for those people who don't have these players.
Yeah, if you don't own Gorn, do you get Gorn in right on the buy, or do you right on Grundy's buy? I think not. I think because you'll get him in for 1 week and then he has a week off. I don't know if it's worthwhile. But then again, if he's popping off every week like this, maybe you do just have to bite the bullet and get him in before he keeps going up in price.
That's it, right? That's the tricky thing.
What are your rankings? My rank is not wonderful.
Not wonderful. It's a good way.
41,239 is my current rank. Chris?
I went up 9K. I'll do it in the team review video, but I went up 9K, 19,965.
Very nice.
Yeah, we'll jump up.
Looking at Steele for Sam Berry, Flanders for Dawson, and Sam Darcy for Jordan. Yeah. Yep. That looks good, Causa. I like that. Like that, mate. Well done. Especially with Flanders. He's top 6 for sure. For sure. Let's pray for Sexton to be out for a great loop. No. I don't want Sexton out. I want Sexton playing. No, I want Sexton making me money. Yeah. I don't want him as a loop.
I do not have Dempsey in my team. And with Wilson looking like he's going to be a crap cash cow at the moment, hopefully he bounces back, right? Hopefully he comes out. Maybe something happens. They play on a bigger ground, whatever. Wilson does fantastic. But, yeah, we need Sexton to start making some decent cash. Because right now I look at my team. Like, I've got Howes or Hall making some money. And then Carroll, Sharp, and now Darcy, who I brought in on my bench making money. Like, it's not great. It's really not great.
Who are the rookie trade-ins this week that isn't Darcy? If you haven't got Dempsey, this is your last chance to get him in.
If you want some players who haven't had a price rise, I think Tom Brown from Richmond, though he does have a buy in a couple of weeks, and then Draper from Freo. I think he's on the bubble as well, if he's named.
Or should I go to Darcy? I just need a shift on my dead backs.
Well, that's it.
Melbourne have a very short turnaround between games this week. Hopefully that means Rob gives Gorn a bath this week. Praying for a Gorn downfall this week.
Nah, not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. He's too good. He's too good to do that. But Christian, how's it going? What if Christian? I traded Green to Sarong last week, since I got Petrarca also with Butters and Bond? What if I traded Green Are you giving us a hypothetical situation here, or did you actually trade Green out to Sarong last week?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Not entirely sure what you're going along there with, Christian. Thoughts on Harley Reid to Dempsey, asks Legend.
If you've got the spare trade, make it happen. If that's the worst thing in your team, then congratulations for you. Your team's a lot better than mine this year. Went into the season thinking, I'd do okay, and we haven't, but that's all right. But yeah, if your worst problem is Harley Reid this week, 100% do it. Like, go down. Just make it happen. MC's going to go up at least another 50 odd K. Harley Reid is not going to go up another 50 odd K. And then, you're laughing from there.
The Chill with the Bugs Bunny. What's up, Duck? Steele, Took, or Rao, guys, for M5? I think Steele. Just because Steele is going to give you a good captaincy option this week against Richmond. I think you can trade him in and then immediately captain him.
Yep. Yeah, I don't mind
that. Velo, thoughts on Zach Reid, Harley Reid, and Max Holmes out? Hasty, Darcy, and Miller, Rao in. I already have Steele. I wouldn't get Hasty. I wouldn't be hasty on Hasty.
Hasty's in the bin. I think he scored a 20 odd. I reckon he was the sub.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he plays next week, to be honest.
Exactly. Darcy, yes. Miller or Rao, yes. More so Took. I like Took more than Rao, than Matt. But I wouldn't go Hasty. Definitely not Hasty. Hoops, is Clary a top 8? When he's fit and firing, then yes, for sure. No doubt about it. And remember, you might look at the overall average come end of the season, and you might not see him as a top 8. But from the time that you trade him in, if he starts averaging you 120 every single week from when you bring him in, then he is a top 8 caliber midfielder for you in that stretch. So, yes, I'm going to say he is. He's going through like a mini preseason at the moment. Plus, he's copped some tag attention. I wouldn't be surprised if in the second half of the season, barring any injury to interrupt him, I think he's going to come flying at the end of the season.
Yeah, no, I definitely think so as well. As Joe says, I'm a sucker for chasing points, and I hate it, but I do it all the time. If Clary comes in and starts pumping out 200s when you brought him in, fantastic. Because we haven't started these players. We're bringing them into our teams. It's the way to really go. But I think we'll be able to get him about 550K the way that he's going. So just kind of prepare your money for that.
Just watched Geelong's backline first round from row E, and I'm not sure Darcy will score as well. I could just be salty. I'm a Hawks fan. Sam Darcy. Wait, are the Hawks playing? Yeah. Oh, all right. Eagles are playing. Oh, sorry. Dogs are playing the Cats. All right, makes sense. At Adelaide Oval. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I want to see your trades. I haven't made any yet, Hippo. I haven't really thought about it, to be honest. I'll make a video, I think maybe tomorrow, put it out when I've had a chance to think about it. But I've had a family barbecue today, and I've only just sat down after watching the game, very soon after the game finished, to do this live stream. So yeah, stay tuned for tomorrow, I think. Also, has Whitfield had a role change? Why is he scoring better this year compared to last?
Because he's a gun. No, I think he has. I think he's had a bit of a role change. I think GWS in general have got a lot better, and they haven't had guys like, I don't think Isaac Cummings come back yet, which potentially has made Whitfield a little bit better as well. But yeah, just kind of there were periods of time last year where the scoring was definitely there, and it was very good. And then now I think it's just kind of gone there a little bit better. Been a little bit.
He has. I would also add that he's had a fairly soft start to the season as well.
Yeah, that's fair.
Collingwood didn't look good.
At least round one did good.
Yeah, North give up points to halfbackers because you just don't have the forwards that can lock down anybody. And West Coast, of course, everyone pops off against West Coast. So I would consider and not forget that, yes, he looks good, but when your opposition isn't, it's a lot easier for you to look good. So, yeah, but he does. I agree, he does look good. Grand final there, Lockie Neal sucks. Eric Hipwood needs your donations. That heart transplant can't come quick enough.
Eric Hipwood was atrocious this week.
For sure, I agree. Trav Gorn is easily the VC against Adelaide in Tahini captain. If you own him, which I'm sure most do, yes, I agree. But I don't have Gorn, so I can't do that.
Yeah, I'd rather have Butters. I don't know about Gorn. He's probably going to do very well, but it just felt like Rob did well. Maybe it's because Rob kind of goes half with Burgess. But we'll see.
Too many injured at St Kilda. Saints have a better run now. Had some hard matchups fantasy-wise. Could go 80 this week easy. Oh, why? Why would Steele all of a sudden? Like, if anything, with Winhager out of the team, they're going to need Steele even more than ever in that midfield mix. He's going to have close to 100% CBAs when apart from when he's resting on the bench. I can't see. Plus, Max King comes back this week, which means more score assists, more effective kicks inside forward 50 against Richmond. So no, I'm backing in Steele to do well this week. Jack, Tommy, Billings, Gibcus, and Wilson for Steele, Dempsey, and Draper. Look, Draper isn't. It was Josh Draper, yeah. Yep. I think he's only played the one game, right?
He's played two.
No,
he's on the bubble.
Yeah, get him in. Yep, that's excellent. I love it. He looked really good. He looked really good in that game against Adelaide.
He's just playing Carlton, and Carlton have a lot of these tall players who are very, very good. It's going to be tricky for him to come out and do as well as what he's done. It might be the same again, as his first game, but the position's there. He's just a tall forward, and tall forwards versus Harry Mackay or Curnow or SDK, not SDK, TDK. It's tough. It's a tough matchup.
I still think it will be a great cash cow. That price is going to be in his system. Not the price. That score of what did he score? 68.
68.
It's still a good score, close to 70 with a free against. It's not too bad. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. I think he's got great job security as well. So I like those trades. Nice, Tommy. I like it. Tom Powell VC against Carlton. I love the confidence, Burgaroo. Paul, Steele or Rao? Steele. Yes, Steele for me. Only 4 people attending CBAs at Gold Coast Suns. Both Took and Steele is the combo. Agreed.
Yeah, which is why I tried to bring them in this week, but I couldn't, and I'm a bit upset, but that's all right.
Feels bad. I would have brought in Took last week, but he was on the bye, so I couldn't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Cheese. My planned trades are Fisher and Harley Reid out for Darcy and Flanders. Is it worth boosting to get a shit rookie out for Dempsey? Yes. If you haven't used 2 boosts already, I think yes.
Yeah. Dempsey is probably going to get to 350k and then plateau. So if you want some decent scores over the next 2 weeks of buys, I know a few of us have a couple of Sydney players out, at least in the next one, maybe not so much in round 6, but Dempsey looks good.
Yeah, he does. Very good. Tukey, the Squirrel Gripper versus the Steel Deal. That's a tough question, Jonas. It's a bit of a coin flip. Obviously, the general consensus from what you can tell is that we like both of them. If you can have both, you're killing it. But if you had to pick only one, I'm gonna go with Steele as the captaincy option this week. That's it. That's it. He's got a great matchup. He's a bit cheaper. He's going to go up in price more. I think it's the steal deal. Paul, I have Ryan, Dacos, Houston, Mass, Williams, Howes. Want to get Sheasel to push Howes to bench, but would like steal also.
Yep.
How are you going to have both Sheasel and steal? You can't have both, I don't think, this week.
Yeah. Unless you have like a James Jordan plus a bunch of other players to get rid of. It's going to be a bit of a tricky one. If you had to pick one, Joe, which one would you get in this week? Steele or Sheasel? You had to pick.
I've been answering all these questions. It's your turn.
Well, you have to make a decision. I mean, I'll make a decision as well, but you have to make a decision, right?
Look, Sheasel. What's Sheasel priced at now? What's Sheasel's price?
580. 580.
Oh, get Sheasel. Get Sheasel.
Yeah. Break even of 91 versus 73. I don't mind it. I reckon get Steele. If I had to choose between the two, it would be Steele this week for me. I think you're
if you get Sheasel, then you're only fielding one rookie in the bench in the back line, as opposed to. No, he's fielding. He's got Ryan, Dacos, Mass, Williams, and Howes.
Yeah, so if he gets Sheasel, I assume
even he's better.
Even better. Something. Yeah.
Yeah, no, get Sheasel. I reckon Sheasel. He's top 6 guaranteed. He's flying. He doesn't have to have a great game to score 120. And you're getting rid of Howes, who could give you 20 points on field next week. I think push Howes to the bench. I like Sheasel.
Do it.
Is Wines trade to Steele a good trade? Steele against Richmond looks good. It does.
It's what I've done. What I've done. The problem with Wines is it's just Wines. So we know what his scoring is. He hasn't even scored over 100 yet in 3 or 4 weeks. It's been a disappointment, Luke. And I've got him in my team. And I want to get rid of him. So, yeah.
If his name was Ollie Whiskey, he'd be better. But he ain't.
Oh, mate.
Or Canadian Club. Calls up with Took. He has North and Eagles twice coming up yet in the season. I think you're going to need Took in, but if you had to pick one to get in this week, is the question.
Yep.
I think it's Steele as the priority.
I think so too.
Is Harvey Thomas a real option this week? That 100 in his rotation makes him viable to just make money.
The problem is, can you trust it? Like, we look at him versus Dempsey, right, at a similar price point. Obviously, Thomas is a little bit cheaper. Dempsey's definitely done it for the longer period of time and looks really good. Thomas has had like 2 games in the 40s and then done it. So can you trust it? I don't know. Especially them coming off buys, they might change things up a little bit. But
107 against West Coast.
To be honest, I would be more inclined to pick up a Buku Kamas, I think, at a cheaper price or a comparable price than Harvey Thomas. Yes, you say that 100 is there. They picked up Thomas for a reason. He's probably never going to get dropped, but yeah, it's a crazy one.
He's not playing West Coast every week to score 107.
No, he's not.
Steve, I have Miller, Steele, Crouch, and up and down Bonner. Just don't watch naughty things and your Bonner won't go up and down, Steve. Velo, I have Bont, Green, Butters, Steele, and Dacos as mids. Very cool.
Nice.
Lethal Leadem. What's a greater priority for you guys? A sliding mid primo or upgrading the defense ASAP with poor rookie options?
You want to go first or do you want me to go first?
For me, I think I'm willing to roll the dice with the defender primos because McKercher and Roberts, I think, will both be fine fieldable options in the backline come round 7. Mm-hmm. And most of the points for the rest of the year, the bulk of your points come from your gun mids. And if you can get the gun mids into your team sooner rather than later, you're pumping out bigger scores every week on average. So I think get the mid premiums before they go up in price, because once they go up, they go up. So that's what I reckon.
Yeah. It depends, right? For me, I think Dawson and LVU and a few others are must get rid of. I would almost say it's more important for you to get on the mid and forward rookies who are going to go up a lot in price, because there's a lot of those now who are showing that they're going to be quite dud players. So probably better to get on those than do anything else, really. But as Joe says, right, come round 7, we've got 3 more weeks. And then everyone's backline is probably 3 or 4 primos, and then like Roberts and McKercher. Like, that's what our backline is going to look like for a while. And then it's upgrading to everywhere else. So cash generation is probably key at this point, because you want to have enough money to be able to get in these guys. Like, as much as as good as it is bringing in these other players, cash generation is just insane, and you have to bring it in. There's so many guys like a Dempsey, like a Buku Kamas. You know, we're holding a Zach Reed, and we've already been stung. Like, Sexton started to drop. Cool, that 46 is going to be in his break even for a while. Excuse me, Darcy Wilson popping off at 25. Like, this was a guy that we were hoping was going to get to 250, 300K. He might not even get to 200K. Like, let's be realistic. So we want to start making sure we hit those milestones with our teams. And it's one of the problems that I had with my upgrades last week, with my trades, was I'm not getting rid of dead players from the bench. I'm starting to just sideways players. So at a certain point, if I had 3 trades this week, it would be potentially downgrade a Dawson and then use that extra cash to upgrade someone to a Dempsey, for example, and then swap a dead rookie. That would probably be the optimum trade, because you're going to get left behind very, very, very quickly. Like, I'm looking at my projected at the moment, and it's like 23.50 with these trades I'm doing now. But in 2 weeks, when people have started to spend their boosts, the good teams, the ones that haven't used 3 boosts already, they're going to start triple upgrading, grabbing all these premiums who are around that 600K mark. You're going to get left behind in the dark, and you just don't want that to happen. Because best 18's finished. Round 7, best 18's finished. Like, that's it. Those 5 or so weeks are going to be brutal for those people that don't have cash gen. Because cool, oh, Carroll, 250. Oh, I can't get this player in. Well, you miss out on a week of upgrades. Oh well, too bad, you know? Like,
yep.
It's tough. It's going to happen. So, yeah, it's rough. Don't do it.
Butters Green 2 can steal for me. Nice, Globes. Love it. Well done. Jonas, I have the big 5. Bont Green, Steel Mud, and Lions. He's part of the big 5, all right? This is the Maroon 5.
My midfield is so mud. Like, yeah, I just feel bad about my team. My midfield is so dead.
I mean, my midfield, it's not the best. I mean, it's okay, but if I just optimize, I guess. I mean, I've got Bont, Sarong, Green, Butters as a 4, and then Flanders, who's meant to be in the forward line. So it's not sensational, but hey, it is what it is. Is it bad to keep Grundy the whole season if he averages 108?
The only problem with that is that if you look at English's scoring, he probably averages a 120. So at some point, I think Grundy's floor is going to be a lot lower than English's. So you're going to have those games where, cool, you can keep Grundy for the whole year, but the competition is probably going to be scoring 100 or 105 in their bad games, and you're probably scoring a 68. And we've already seen that so far already in like the first 3 games. So
yeah.
It's a tricky one.
Had to move on LDU this week, 173 back, even merit in. Fair enough, Harry. I already have English and Grundy, but then what to do with Grundy at the bye? If you own Grundy and want Gorn, either way, your ruckman will miss a game over the next 2 weeks. It's a tough call. So for that reason, maybe you might as well just trade in Gorn anyway. If you're going to be missing a game, regardless, you might as well maybe just trade in Gorn before his price jumps up even more. So, yeah.
It really comes down to if you have one and then you want to get the other one in, being able to calculate at what rates they're going to go up and down in pricing. So that's probably the big thing.
Yep, fair enough.
And hold out on Grundy for the next 2 weeks. But come his buy, like, you better hope that the guy you're trading in is, like, around the mark. Guys, if you haven't already, try and smash that like button, smash the sub button. Got a lot of content coming out this week, and, you know, we've loved having everyone on. We've had a consistent, like, 100+ over the last, just jumped up to 118. So we've had a consistent 100+ for the last hour and a half. So we love the support, everybody, and thanks for all the comments too. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, 100%, guys. It's so much fun. I wouldn't be enjoying Supercoach anywhere near as much if it wasn't for you guys.
That makes up for our poor scores.
Exactly. Lukey, yeah, I do prefer Steele now. He has been very impressive. And yeah, he is spreading really well. And taking uncontested marks. Now, I don't know if that's also because of our inability to guard transition, but yeah, Steele has looked wonderful. And I was watching him in the game, and yeah, he looked sensational. So I am liking the look of Steele. He looks like he's genuinely back to his best, and at that price, he is still a steal. Burgaroo, thoughts on Billings and Reed for Darcy and Clark? Clark. Not Jai Clark, I hope. Please not Jai Clark, Burgaroo. Don't get Jai Clark now. After a price point. If you're going to pay for someone who's had a price right, get
MC's the one. Yeah, don't get
Clark. Wrong cat. Wrong Geelong player, Burgaroo. Wilson, Billings, or Windsor for Darcy. Thinking Billings. Could be Billings. But Wilson, I don't know. Wilson's role just doesn't look great.
He just went absent. Like, the game was on. They were running up and down the field, doing all these things. I don't think it was super wet. But he was just absent this game.
We were under the roof at Marvel.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and he just looked absent. And you thought with, like, Henry and other players out that he would have been doing okay, but just wasn't there. Doesn't look like his time on ground was that bad, but like, why is Ross Lyon putting him forward? He's not a forward. Like, yeah, it's a bit silly.
Yeah, I don't know. Darcy Wilson, he didn't look good. Maybe Jono can elucidate some more as our resident St Kilda fan. Sorry, Jono, about the loss. Very sorry. Not really. Not sorry. How's it going, Jono? 18-14. I think I just pipped you this week. Current rank, 20,500. Make him super trades this week. Grundy to Powell. Okay, so clearly you've got Jackson in the forward line. Fife to Flanders and Jordan to Whitfield. Ooh. And I love it. He's talking about himself in the third person as well. Interesting. Billings for Darcy and Crouch for Harley Reid. How come you guys are skip me? Not skipping you, Theo.
Theo.
Just read your comment now, bro. I'm not skipping you at all. Apologies if you think so.
Billings for Darcy and Crouch for Harley Reid. I like it. You can do it. If you can't afford Jack Steele, Crouch is okay. And Crouch is the reason why Dawson has been shitting the bed. Basically. Like that's 100%. That's the reason why. So, yes. Like it, go for it, mate. No dramas.
Clary 570 next week. Ooh, juicy. Do you guys know any news on Jared Witt's injury? I don't even know if Jared Witts has news on his injury. There's just no Gold Coast Suns fans, bro, that can give us the inside scoops. What would you predict Ryan averages from here on? Oh, it's a tough question, Lukey. Look, the way he's playing now, it's hard to see him.
That's my.
I was about to say, the way he's playing now, it's hard to imagine him, unless more injuries happen and he has to play accountable defending, it's hard to see him score shit.
I don't even think it matters too much because of just the amount of kick-ins that he ends up taking. That Ryan just like, cool, whenever Frio's got one, 80%. Like, I think this week was a little bit less, it felt like. But he's setting up behind the ball, ready to go, doing a lot of stuff. Like, I just think Luke Ryan is just going to take all the kickings. That's just the way it is. So, yeah, it's a really tricky one. I would pencil him in for a 120.
Yeah. He probably could do it. He didn't even have an amazing game on the weekend, but his kick to handball ratio is just off the charts. Like, he almost refuses to handball. And he'll always, and they love just directing the ball and giving it to him in open space. And then he will be involved in the switches of the play and things like that. Like, I don't know why I didn't start him. I honestly feel like a dumbass for not starting him, to be honest, but he's just too good. Next year. It's always next year, I guess. You're right.
Oh, we have to. We can't go back in time.
No, we can't. Whitford taking more kick-ins, I heard. He's played against shit opposition, Lukey. I want to see him this week against Carlton. Chris, you're a funny man. You're a funny man, Chris. Wayne Kerr. I prefer Mo Lester, I think, for 169. Rodney, Marshall was number 1 for hundreds last year and number 2. And that's why, Rodney, I was thinking that he was going to be my upgrade target from Grundy. He's in the prime of his career. Last year was his first time adopting sole ruck role. I imagine that this year will be an improvement. So I think Marshall is the reason why many people were thinking that we were going to have him be our upgrade target. But for those who don't have Max Gawn, with the numbers that he's pumping out at the moment, he's just not being replicated by Rowan. Now, having said that, Essendon historically in recent times have been a restrictive matchup for rucks. Draper's a tough ruckman to ruck against. Yes, he might not get a lot of hitouts himself, but because he's just so physical, he just collides with the other ruckman and then neither of them get the clean hit out. So he's a pretty tough opposition. Plus, he was double teamed with Goldie as well. So a 79 isn't great, and we can get him for cheap. I think he'll be much better for the run in the back half of the year when his fixture opens up, a lot more Marvel games. He only had 50% disposal efficiency in this game. I still think Rowan Marshall will be a great trading target, and I think I might just fade Max Gawn. I think I'm gonna death ride anti-fade Max Gawn and hope for a downfall and rock the English and Marshall combination for the year, I think.
Yeah, why not? You can do it. That's the tricky thing, right? Is that Marshall's problem's always been him not having a good second player to jump in with him. We saw early last year with Machida Owens, that was fantastic. I'm not sure what the makeup is of their ruck situation at the moment, but as you say, Joe, if he gets focused, if he gets double teamed against a team that just doesn't let him sit there and puts on the pressure, right? You guys were really good at doing that in the game as well. So if he's forced to try and just take quick kick outs or quick kind of things off the mark, you've got enough defenders now that you can kind of block him. It kind of shuts down his scoring a little bit. You check him out, Rowan Marshall, 14 clangers. You guys did it, 14 clangers.
Yeah.
He almost had more clangers than he did hitouts. He had more clangers than Goldstein had hitouts in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly.
if you can force him to kick quick, you can force him to do all these different things alongside 5 frees. It's not going to happen every game, but
no, it won't. This is a tough fixture for him. I spoke with Pizza, who's part of the Hall of Fame in the Supercoach, and he said that Marshall's a good pick if he can get through this tough early fixture, tough matchup for ruckman. He'll be great in the second half of the year, and we sort of saw that from Marshall at the back end of the year last year. He didn't start hot, but his end to the season was super impressive. So I do believe in Marshall as a selection in the long run. Guys, I think we're gonna be wrapping it up soon. I think we'll give it 6 minutes to get us to 10:20, and we'll call it a night.
We've been on almost 3 hours, boys. It's been boys and girls, obviously. It's been a long run, but smashing out your content, smashing out your questions, and I love these Mondays. we do a lot of stuff on the Sunday, but Monday live stream, it's become kind of like a staple in my time at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. It's been awesome. So yeah, if you haven't, please drop us a like and a subscription if you're new. But yeah, we'll call it a night in 10:20.
Jack, I think for me, Howes is playing. Doesn't look like he's getting dropped. That's good enough for me at the moment. Until he gets dropped, then I reassess. But it's either him or Hoare at the moment, and I'm not dropping a player that's only got me 100k at this point. So I have to keep him.
Yep. Thoughts on Sean Manor, says Thea.
It's tricky. He got dropped, and it seems like Dempsey and a few of these other guys are actually taking a bit of his points or kind of, what would be a little bit of his role. So until that kind of fades out, I don't even know if he gets picked at the moment. Stengel hasn't lost that form. We saw how good Dempsey was and a few of these other players. So, yeah, I don't know if he's going to be best 18 or best 22, best 23 for a while, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. Nathan, how's it going, Nath? Ranked 771. Very, very impressive. Well done.
Nice work, Nathan.
Getting Darcy in, but who should I trade? Wilson, Cadman, Fife, Reed. Who are you trying to get in?
No, he's saying he's getting Darcy in, but which one?
True. Sorry. Not Cadman.
No, not Cadman. Probably not Reed. I think Reed's okay for a little while.
Yep.
Wilson or Fife. Now, it would be a case of, do you need the money or do you want to get rid of the speculative rookie? Now, I would probably get rid of Fife. If that was my thing, I would say, cool, get rid of Fife, because next week a lot of us are going to be triple boost, are going to be boosting next week. So if going Darcy to Fife, Fife to Darcy nets you, 200 and something K, 100% make that happen. That's like a James Jordan up to a primo for next week, or an English, Grundy up to an English, whatever it is. So I think that would be the way to go. I think Fife's probably at his last legs. And we saw this week he scored a 68, I think, and then got subbed. I think that's probably going to happen similar again, and then his cash generation's done for him. So, yeah, that would be my pick, I think. And if you've got Cadman, Cadman, just put Cadman on field. And then say, look, you're not really losing out that much in point scoring either from there on. So, yeah.
Travis, hi, guys. My backline feels like a mess. Doesn't all our backlines feel that way, bro? I'm thinking Howes, Gibkiss, and Reed to Keane, Bramble, and Darcy. Then Keane? I have Zach Williams on my bro. Keane, exactly. Who is Keane? Keane just happened to be the top scorer in that game. Mark Keane, when Adelaide lost. Mark Keane was the top scorer for Adelaide.
I do not trust the Mark Keane then. If he's the top scorer and I've never heard of him, I think it's a no. Sorry, Trav. I would not be picking no Mark Keane. You just have to hold out 3 more weeks. That's all we need to do. Hold out for 3 weeks.
Centre half back.
Well, they have no one else. They legitimately have no one else. That's the problem, right? But yeah, I would not get rid of a Keane. Sorry,
don't go Mark Keane. No, definitely not.
Very glad you didn't get Windhager as well.
Yeah. That is point chasing at its finest, Travis. You just don't go for a speculative mid-pricer out of the blue. Just don't do it. Go guns and rookies as much as you can. Can we go early on Warner? No, I don't think so. No. Always go for people on the bubble. Steve, out of Sam Darcy, Seth Campbell, and Aaron Cadman, who would you field?
Cadman. 100%. Cadman. I think you could for like a 70 plus from Cadman, and I don't think you'll get that from the other ones.
Yeah, exactly. Rapid fire. Robert the hold till second. Yeah, for sure. He's scoring points.
It just depends. Like if he keeps up the 100, fantastic. If not, that's okay. But yeah, definitely keep him until like round 10. He shouldn't be one. When we start doing upgrades, it's either we can bring in the best player we can, or just keep him and get rid of the shit scores on field. That's the way to go.
Yep. Evening, Sin. You've come in right on time as we're about to close shop.
What's up, Sim?
Cap and Flash. No, it's not bad to use your boost early. If you have to do it, then you have to do it.
Yep.
Hoops. Is it bad to have 5 back primos at the moment? No, it's not bad at all.
It's very good. It's Very, very, very
good. If things are going well, is this a week to save trades or attack with trades?
I think this is the perfect week to assess your team and work out what of the rookies you don't have, because over the next 4 or so weeks, you're going to be going 1 up, 1 down, or 2 down, 1 up, whatever it is. And if you don't have the guys that are making a lot of money, you're going to struggle. So make sure that you have enough of those guys. Cash gen right now is the most important thing ever.
Exactly. Dempsey or Darcy, asks HE. Both, I think.
Ideally, if you can have both, I would probably say Dempsey if you had to have one, but maybe Darcy.
Is Darcy important enough that I should trade Wilson, Seth Campbell, or Jordan for? I'd trade Wilson out for him.
Yeah, I think so. If I had the luxury and my team wasn't how it is, I think that might be the play.
Yeah, for sure. Powell top 6 forward? Potentially.
If he's averaging 105, then why not?
Exactly. You guys are amazing. Thank you, Paul. Much love.
Thanks, Paul.
Cheers, Brad. Have a good night. Is it worth getting Powell in now? If he's going to go 105, then I think he's still underpriced. So, yes, you can get him in.
This is the last week to do it. He does have a negative break even, so he is going to jump up 40K. The thing with Powell is we said at the start, he's probably going to get to 450 and then start to plateau, given his scoring. And then we'll decide if he's going to be a keeper or not. So if you get Powell in now, you're probably guaranteed 80K. If you're happy with getting Powell at 450K, cool. You can offload him plus a rookie into a primo. So it seems okay.
Yep. Julian, out. How's Fife Billings? In Whitfield, Flanders, Darcy. Do you rate it? Yes,
yep.
I do.
Yep, no dramas. You're getting rid of two mid prices and Hows and getting in 3 players. It's not bad.
Yep, I like it. Good stuff. Billings plays the first game of the round, so it might be worth having one more look. What is his break even?
Too high. Too high.
Billings break even of 64. It's disgusting. I hate my life right now.
So he's gonna lose some money if he gets his break even. Like if he
does shit. Correct.
Yeah. It's time to offload him, chuck him in the bin.
Yep. Who would be a better option to trade out, either Fife, Bonner, or Jordan?
I would probably say Fife is first, but Freo have done really well. I think Bonner you can hold. The role's there. He's just a shit player. And then Jordan. So I'd probably go Fife, Jordan, Bonner. And Jordan needs to go by next week anyway, because that round 5 bye, we've got like 18 people. So, yeah, chuck him in the bin.
Yeah, Rowan Marshall looked super pissed. I agree. Joe vs. Brody Grundy at WrestleMania 40.
Why not?
You're a funny one. No one cares how long is a piece of string. How long before Fife pulls a string? Exactly. Yeah. Who to field? Darcy, Sexton, or Wilson? Sexton.
Yeah, or him or Darcy would be my 2. Let's say Sexton. I think the ball's going to be down Gold Coast's back end for a long time.
Yep. What do you think of trading James Wood and Sam Darcy and getting Stillen for Wines? Is it worth using a boost to upgrade Hayden Young?
Well, Hayden Young just scored a 130, so I probably wouldn't touch it. I think the role's there for Hayden Young. It's just been shit. Darcy and Still in for Wines. Yeah, I don't mind it. I think you just got to find a different source of income to be able to make it happen. I wouldn't get rid of Hayden Young, unfortunately.
Yep. Sexton, Cadman, or Wilson on field?
Cadman.
Against Gold Coast? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, he's a key forward. They probably won't have Wines, and he's playing he plays ruck at the same time. So, yeah, not a bad shout.
Much love, Lukey. Yeah, if you can just do 2 trades and save yourself a boost, then absolutely do it.
Yeah, 100%. That's the best thing about this week too, is that rounds like 5, 6, 7, 8. If you haven't spent any boosts, you're laughing because you're going to be triple trading players. Hopefully, we get a few more injection of rookies to be able to do that. But you're on cloud 9 at that point.
Yeah. Wilson for Dempsey, asks Shabs.
Yep. If you've got nothing else to do, make it happen. I think Dempsey's probably got another 100K plus in him. I've currently put Dempsey in for Harry Mackay, so we'll see how that works out. But yeah, I'll do it.
Bro, I'm actually going to I might trade Billings out this week. I might just go Billings to Dempsey and say, piss off, you piece of...
Well, it's going to be more expensive than Billings. Like after this week anyway. So
exactly. So I think Billings is gone for me this week. All right, cool. Do we think Tom Stewart is a good option? Of course he is, Shabs. Of course he is. He's a gun. He's a freak. He's a superstar. As are all of you guys for joining us for this stream. We told you we'd close up at 10:20. We gave you 5 extra minutes because we love you too much, and you kept coming through with the questions. If you liked what you saw from us here today, please like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to make sure that you don't miss out on any of our videos and streams that we have coming out this week and throughout the rest of the season, because we are not going anywhere.
Guys, it's been an amazing preseason. It's only week 3. Don't give up. Don't kind of do things. Remember, build your cash gen. That's probably my takeaway from today. Build your cash gen. Start thinking about these 600K players and your rookies on your bench being able to go one up, one down and getting in those primos. So that should really be your main plan for this week. Similar to last week, get rid of a couple of premiums, do whatever. Jack Steele's fantastic as a downgrade option for a Jordan or a LDU. Matt Crouch as well, and potentially Lockie Whitfield off the back line if you're feeling a bit sketch. But we do have players come round 7 who might come in and take those spots.
What he said. So, guys, thank you guys so much for hanging around. Stay tuned for our team review videos that will come out tomorrow. And then, obviously, Wednesday will be our captaincy and locking in our final trades. And I don't know when we're going to schedule a DPP potential update video for this week. Yeah, it's a very short, truncated week due to the Monday game today. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Absolutely love the engagement
on Thursdays as well. So it's been a lot of fun being able to check out with you guys, kind of reacts to the team sheets, and have a lot of fun there. It's been really good.
Jonas, if Billings scores 100 this week, I'm gonna eat these socks.
You are not gonna eat your socks.
I'm gonna put them in the microwave to make them warm and then shove it in my mouth. If Billings goes 100, you heard it here. If he does, so be it. All right, guys. Thank you all so much. We'll see you all in the next one.
We'll catch you tomorrow. Bye.